Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Survivors Complex. We are excited to be back here today for the continuation of our game. Having some exciting times last week and looking to see where everybody's going to be going from here. We had a bit of a time jump at the end of the last game, so some of that will be revealed as we go. Before we get started, a couple of announcements. We had to postpone Wonderworld from last week because of the storms and everything coming through. So we're going to be playing that this Tuesday. I'll be running it. We should have Kyle, Alex, and Savannah there as far as I know. Otherwise, we're going to have to talk about that after. But otherwise, it should be fun. Continuing there with superhero goodness. We are also in the process of getting some other special things, another game going. I don't know if have we already announced it a little bit? Yeah. So we've got a D&D 5th edition fantasy space game that's going to be DM'd by YouPickGaming's Ryan at Brian Reeds on the Twitters,
aka America's favorite fighting Freeman.
Yeah. So we're excited. A couple of us are going to be playing in that, so we're excited to see how that goes. We're going to be starting that on not this Monday, but the Monday after. I don't know the date. Somebody else could look that up. That would be great.
25th. I want to say it's that Monday. 25th. Yeah, 25th.
Yeah. So we're going to be starting that on the 25th. So check that out. Also, so everyone knows, we will not be doing Survivors Complex at our normal time next week. And we won't be running this game specifically. We have some late night obligations, and now that myself nor Savannah could be here, so that means we'd have no DM and nobody to run the stream. So the rest of you guys would just be playing for yourselves, which you're still welcome to do. But before that, what we're going to do is we're going to have at 2:30 Eastern time, we are going to be running a one-shot that is going to be DM'd by our own Alex. And it should be fun. I think there was mention of portals, so take a look out for that. Otherwise, I think that's all that we've got so far. As always, just keep up with the YouPickGaming Twitter for any other announcements we might have. So, anybody else that have anything to say or add? Good to go? All right. So we'll go ahead and jump into our recap then. Last time on Survivors Complex, our crew had reconvened back in Port Onrix to gear up for their final showdown against the hated Lord Julius Hound, the vampiric captain that had been plaguing the region of Port Onrix for the past few weeks. You had failed in your attempt to rescue or to recruit some of the other pirates of Mad Eye's crew, and had finally made it back to your city for your final preparations. After gearing up and coming up with your plan, which involved creating a large barricade in the harbor and lining it with explosives, you set in wait as the mists rolled in on the promised 12th day from the time that Julius Hound had left. You saw the ship approaching and watched as your plan seemed to work, seeing the ship run into the barricade and then explode, sending shrapnel across the harbor. As this happened, you saw the ship ignite into flames, a number of the revenants aboard blown up in the process. However, you then saw as the ship seemed to take on this monstrous appearance, these large black wings spreading out from to either side, and then one flap extinguishing the flames. And you watched as the ship itself began to repair. But before you could let it get back into its fighting condition, you, using a water walk spell, rushed across the waves and began this fight against Lord Hound as the undead army had kind of emerged from the ocean waves into the port. The fight was long and brutal, a few of you going down in the process, coming very near to death. The sort of clutch move of the game, of the fight, going to Lilibet, whose use of divine sense was able to locate the source of power for Lord Hound, and upon smashing it with your holy hammer, extinguish the shadows that seemed to surround him. You see this, it was a totem made of bones and spines and skulls all mounted on top of each other. As the totem was destroyed, the shadows that surrounded Hound faded, and you found that a lot of the resistances and immunities that he had disappeared as well. Thus, the fight began, and you, in a climactic final blow, Lilibet jumped down into the ocean waves, seeing Star unconscious and Lucius unconscious and on the brink of death. Were able to connect that final blow, making up for the failed attempt the day before, or the weeks before. Incinerated Julius Hound, watching his ashes and belongings sort of scatter and fall into the ocean depths. The battle seemed to end, the revenants falling immobile once again to their corpse-like forms, and the undead army, this army of bone and skeletons, also falling as well. We had 2 weeks of jump from there in the rebuilding process of the city, and with all of which culminated as the Fury Pirates conducted their council meeting. A number of new captains to the Fury crew were announced, expanding from the prosperity they'd had in these war times. The last pirate captain named was Captain Den, who was given the ship formerly called the Wind's Bane, Julius Hound's former ship, to captain for her command, and letting you all sail on it as well. So we begin our session here today, after the 2 weeks have passed, with after this announcement had been made, with the belongings and cargo being loaded onto the ship, all of you sort of preparing for wherever you might be heading off to next. It's there that we find the 5 of you at the harbor and on the ship, sort of tending to a lot of this. A couple of changes. Some of you have gotten some upgrades to your armor. You see that Lilibet and Den have both upgraded to their 2 plate armor. They were gifted by Rabbit Skiprock, obvious by the insignias branded on the armor itself. The rest of you looking in good condition. You can see the ship itself is restored. Is that ivory white wood, sort of gleaming in the cobalt blue harbor. You see that the sails have been remade and replaced with these this sort of azure blue, very like sort of reminiscent, almost like of the ocean waves. The ship itself being in pristine condition, which at the very front of the ship you see a cannon mounted off the bow, with a gleaming sort of bronze and platinum cannon, with a number of sort of dials and gears off of it, just glistening there in the sunlight, bolted to the front of the ship. Holly and Sædel finishing their polishing and getting it all situated up there. So, as your crew begins to board the vessel, anything anybody would like to do?
Will wants to hand Den a bottle of wine as we come aboard ship and say, "Well, it's time for you to christen her. Gotta break the bottle, though, because we gotta pour one out for our friends."
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, then you walk over to the, or I guess going over down the harbor to the hull of the ship, and you actually breaking the bottle on the ship?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
You have to.
Sure.
I mean, I don't think Sarthia has champagne, so we're gonna go with a bottle of wine.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So what do you do? Or how do you christen the ship, since this is revealing the name?
Oh yeah, I guess I have to give it a name. I also forgot to tell you about the figurehead on the front of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Which I just
that's what I was gonna
about.
ask.
Just remembered that happened. But so I will walk over to the side of the ship and look around to all my friends and new crew and welcome them aboard. I christen the Relentless Gale. Smash it!
All right. Smashing at the shards of glass and the wine cascades off the vessel and down into the water, where it diffuses, and the crew kind of lets out a holler in anticipation for their next voyage. You all see that the crew itself is a diverse sort of gathering of individuals. Now all of you have seen them, your entire new sort of companions gathered around. I'm just, for the sake of doing all the introductions, I'm just gonna sort of quickly go through who's been added to the ship. And actually, what I'll do first is have each of you sort of talk about what your new titles have been, or what jobs or positions you've been given among the ship. So actually, Den, why don't you go ahead and tell us who you chose to do what?
Okay. Well, I chose myself to be the captain.
Okay, you didn't choose you to be the captain.
Well, technically, Windwalker.
I did. Me, myself.
Okay.
Yes, hello, I am the captain.
Do you have a flag?
Do you have a flag? Captain Den has named Holly Reverie as her first mate. Sædel will be our gunner. He's the gun guy. Under which also falls quartermaster and general weapons person, things like that. Lucius will be our purser, in charge of the books and the money and the supplies and inventory and things like that, because he's the smart guy. Lil will be the ship's surgeon / healer. Star will be our navigator.
Also, along which you've named, or there are a couple of other sort of official titles on the ship that you've been given out. You have a stout kind of dwarven man with dark skin and shorter black hair named Arden Boneforge, who's going to serve as the carpenter on your ship. There's Bala, who is a full orc with kind of deep evergreen skin and long tusks, who's going to serve as your cook. Chef, whatever. You have Sædel, your sort of right hand. Your powder monkey is going to be a young halfling girl named Juniper, who perpetually smells like sulfur and explosives, and is very energetic, like she's drank way too much coffee on a regular basis. Otherwise, there are a number of others on the ship that you'll get to know: humans, dwarves, half-elves. There are two more distinguished people there that you more easily notice among the regular rabble. There is a blue dragonborn that introduces herself as Cleve, and a turtle, a female, named Nordal, who I am not at all going to kill almost immediately.
You leave Nordal alone.
She's wearing a red shirt as she boards the ship. And yeah, you just get the idea. She's not somebody that's going to last very long. She's excited to be there. So the crew boards and begins to gather their things and stow them below deck. At which point you see a large crowd, or about like 20 or so people, dock hands, carrying 5 large crates between them, are making their way down the docks towards you, towards your ship. And they are led by a older gnomish man that you recognize as Rabbit. Rabbit motions for him to stop and comes walking up the gangplank and yells out. Doesn't really stop, but yells out towards you, Dan, and says, "Permission aboard!" And before you even really have a chance to enter, to answer, he kind of boards the ship.
I say it anyway.
Okay.
Granted, Rabbit.
He hears you and squints underneath his spectacles and says, "There you are. So, I've got the cargo that you're going to be delivering for me. I would probably need some people to help load it."
What?
Our deal. I give you all fancy gear and help you do something for me.
Yeah, the bunny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a rabbit.
All right.
So, are we good to go?
Yeah. Where are we going?
Did you really forget that quickly?
Look, it's been a long couple of weeks.
Fine. Well, we put all this on the ship for you. It's about 5 crates of armaments, guns, armor, other assorted weaponry. Needed taken to South Harbor. You all see Sædel suddenly drop his equipment and look over in that moment.
All right, yeah, we can do that. Easy trip.
Okay, well, make sure it gets there in one piece. They need it, or they paid for it.
Fair enough.
All right, man, get it aboard. He begins to yell at them to bring up all the very large crates, which your crew begins to bring out the winches and lower it down below deck. So, Rabbit's standing there and just sort of watching it as all this transpires.
Lucius is quite literally standing there with like a thing of like a notebook. It's like, okay, so what is all of this? Okay, it's this much. Okay, and it's this much. Okay, and it's this much. And it's just like taking notes of everything that is on this ship.
I just lean over to everybody else and I'm like, I told you it was a good idea.
I run up to Sædel and I'm like, oh my god! We're going to South Harbor!
I know. I'm excited.
I think your wife's gonna be really excited.
Oh yeah, I'm sure she can't wait to see me, and I can't wait to see her. So
Sædel, is it just you and your wife?
well, my parents also live there, separately, of course, but you know, they live in South Harbor, pretty close to where Ferrore and I live.
Oh, that's nice. No,
You guys are really gonna like her. She's so nice.
I bet.
So, as you all are speaking, everything's loaded up. Rabbit kind of gives you the last manifest to Lucius, which basically says everything that's going to be transported, who it needs to go to, and all that. And they leave the ship, leaving you all to decide what to do. So you've got your ship, Captain, and you got everybody aboard. You've been stocked with enough provisions to last 6 months.
Pirate adventure.
I'm going to
Good.
I'm going to do my job and plot our course.
Okay. Well, actually, I want to go and talk about that too, because you have a couple of. I'm going to move experience over the world map here. You have a couple options. So you guys are essentially like right about here. Picking that a couple times. And South Harbor is all the way over here.
Pretty far.
So you have a couple of options. Straight shot through the divide, around the divide, or any other way you want to. And that's going to be up to you guys to discuss.
Silly question, but where is Den's home that we also need to visit
It is
on the map?
In Balabar.
Oh, okay.
Way to the west. That body of water that's like landlocked.
Yeah.
In Balabar, it's there.
Ah, cool. Okay.
So roll far away.
Yeah. Okay.
The opposite direction of where we need to
That
go.
we need to go. Yeah.
Right. So that's Den's home, and then the major Triton protectorate is somewhere else that I don't remember. Because Sean's the
Selene?
one that. Yeah, Selene, because I don't remember where it is. But so where like this hasn't come up in a long time. But the Glyhid and the like group that Den is supposed to join at some point is not in her home city. It's in like the Triton capital, which is somewhere else that's not there, but I can't remember where.
Hold on. Looking up, making sure I got the right location here.
It's definitely in the water.
Really? I would have
Yeah.
never guessed.
It's basically located right here. Or actually a little bit farther south, right there. It's in the smack dab in the middle of the Sunder Deep.
So technically, on our way to South Harbor, we could go there first.
It's also about like
Oh, it's south.
50 or
No.
plus.
Under the water.
Yeah, it's
Under
It's
the water.
literally like under the water.
the
deep,
It's-
deep underwater, and you guys don't really have any equipment for that right now.
Oh,
Oh no, Sarah. Hang on, everybody.
All right. Okay. So back to exciting map talk. So yeah, Selene is. I think we talked about this a bit. Selene is right here, and you guys are. The South Harbor's right there. Selene is also about a mile underwater, which is fairly deep.
As a scuba diver who has had more than 100 dives under his belt, nah, it's not deep at all. It's fine. It's perfectly okay.
You can hold your breath. And
Hold the breath the entire time. It's great.
So.
So yeah, that will happen.
That
eventually.
will have to wait.
Yeah,
Well, it's
it's
good to
fine.
know.
You know, it can wait for a while.
Are you sure it's not like a
Yeah.
time-sensitive kind of thing that we need to do?
No, I mean, if they really need me, they'll come find me. But
I mean, okay. So to South Harbor it is.
Uh,
There's a lot of stuff that we need to get to South Harbor, and really and truly, I would rather offload it as soon as possible, so
well,
we
then,
don't.
you know,
get
while we're on
stolen.
yeah, and while we're on the way there, we've got at least 2, well, 3 if you count the carpenter, excellent smart builders on our ship, and we can talk about finding something or making something so we can all travel underwater and it'll be great.
It's very true. I'm not going to help with the construction because
No,
last
you
time I
weren't
did
one
that,
of the 3.
I'm really good at
Wasn't
like
you.
just destroying things, not building. I've come to that conclusion.
That's why we put you in charge of the book part.
Well, so that's perfectly fine. I'm good with that. But I mean, I can fix some things. Small things.
Oh, right, one more thing. Before we leave. So this is a Fury Pirate ship, and I'm a captain of the Fury Pirates. Yay, me. It's pretty great. So technically, because I'm captain now, and I named you all to my crew, that means that you can all also join the Fury Pirates if you want. It's not a requirement, but if you wanted to, you're all welcome. You do have to get the tattoo, though.
I'm in.
What does the tattoo?
I show off my tattoo! Wait, which shoulder is it on? This one. I show
Okay.
him my sweet tattoo.
You kind of unfasten some of the plates and pull up the cloth you're wearing underneath, showing your exposing the tattoo on your shoulder, and you all see it's this white, like twisting, like tornado. Essentially, it's like a twister. Twisting twister sounded a little redundant. So
It's
but
a
yeah,
twister.
So it's like a water spell.
yeah, kind of.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't say no. Technically, we're already part of them because we're on your ship.
No,
So.
you have to join.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Sort
I'm
of how a
perfectly fine.
crew works.
Well, technically, we were all like shoehorned into this crew. But
That's what I'm saying. You don't have to be a pirate, but if you want to be, you know, you're part of the family and you're welcome, is what I'm saying.
so do we have to get the tattoo now?
I think I'll talk it over with the wife first, but
Did Sarah
That should
freeze
be
on
fine.
anyone else's screen?
Yeah. Oh no, she
Oh,
came back.
there she goes.
Yeah, it's saying I'm unstable. This is no bueno.
Them fires, man.
Somebody said something last. Somebody asked if they had to do it now.
I mean, you don't have to. Just thought maybe if you wanted to before we left port and all that.
Sure.
I got nothing better to do. Let's do this.
Why not?
I'll hold off on the tattoos for now. I have things I need to deal with, and being able to sneak around other crews if necessary may prove to be beneficial.
Fair enough. Well, office stands.
Okay. So those of you that decide that you want to go ahead and commit yourself to a life in servitude, I mean in joyous... I'm just kidding. So you want to join the Fury Pirates. Officially, you can go ahead. They have a number of excellent tattoo artists in a pirate city, as one might expect. And you go over to a shop belonging to this sort of fabulous elven man that looks like he's probably been running the shop forever. It's like a very pristine, one of the only buildings that wasn't attacked or wasn't touched during the attacks. Pristine glass front to it with paintings all over, these intricate designs of stars and of large, kind of lush landscapes and forests. All of them look like hand painted and beautiful. This mosaic effect going up. And you go in there, and there's this lithe elven man there with a beautiful, swirling mustache, who does the tattoo, gives you the tattoos. Knowing which crew that you're a part of, looks like he probably does the tattooing for a lot of the different crews. And within no time, expertly inks you all with your new insignias, and all of you that choose to. You don't have to have them on your shoulder. That's just where Ben has hers. You could have the insignia anywhere you want, really. So it's up to you. But
Can Lil get it on her calf?
sure.
Yes.
Just right on one side of your face.
Yeah.
Just right there.
My scar is taking up enough real estate.
Tyson style.
I think Lucy should get it done tramp stamp style.
Yeah.
You're muted, by the way.
Can he put it on the tip of his tail?
Uh,
Because it's got the pointed.
yeah, I'm sure.
Why not, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I was thinking putting it on his chest, but I'm he's got a tail. Wait, fuck it, put it on the tail.
Yeah, that's probably never done that before. And looks at him and says, sure, why not? Give it a shot. And he does.
It's nice.
Yeah. All right. So those of you can get your ink, and now you are officially members of the Fury Pirates.
While they're getting inked, I'm going to do what we originally met up to do, which is plan out our route.
Everyone just sort of we should go somewhere. Let's plan. And then Star's actually trying to get ready, and suddenly is tattoos, and runs off. So Star.
Squirrel.
Every group project ever.
Yeah. So Star, how would you like to plan your journey?
So I'm going to go for what I presume to be the safer route, but will probably take us a little bit longer, which is going around the rest of the divide before we get to Yvrandal and South Harbour. Actually,
The safer route is sort of up to debate. So here's your two options. If you go around the divide, towards South Harbor, you're more likely to run into other ships and go through more combat zones, war zones between Fondukir and the northern nations. If you go through the divide, it's going to take longer, and it's more kind of perilous as far as navigation wise, but you're less likely to run into people. So those are your two options. If we're gonna do some mechanic sense,
safe is up for debate here.
Yeah, it's gonna be a higher sort of check and a lot more difficult to navigate through the divide, but you're less likely to be ambushed by other pirates or warships or things like that.
And just remember, Ondakir has skyships.
They do.
As far as navigating
which could
goes,
still catch us if we're going through the divide.
as far as navigating goes, when we're on the way there, can I still help
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that
This
since
is,
I'm driving?
I'd say since you're proficient in navigators tools and you're sort of the stars.
I'm still learning as we're setting out, but I'm worried about that.
Den will be making the checks for this one, and then Star will be assisting with them. And then later on, once you have proficiency, Star, you'll be making the checks, and she'll be assisting. So, Den, you're sort of wearing 2 hats for this one.
Hats, you say?
Speaking of hats, can Lil just be soaking up whatever knowledge she can learn on navigating? Just because.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Catch some of that if you want. All right.
I will, for now, while my proposal to Captain Fish will be to be going around the divide to get there. Starting out simple, because we just got our own ship, and if we wreck it on the rocks, she might actually just stab us all.
I have a question.
That is the logic I give as well.
Savannah, as a player, has a question. Do you call me Captain Fish to my face?
Yes.
I deck him.
Okay.
Just right across the jaw.
Make an attack roll.
With what?
It's strength and proficiency, so just basic attack.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll my warhammer.
Okay.
15.
I think that misses Star, right?
That misses my AC is 17.
Yeah.
But I catch hint. So Captain Den, do you think this is a good way to go?
One person calls me Fish.
Fair enough. I did not know that. I'm sorry.
I think it's a fine idea.
Yay, that's sorted.
Okay.
Does he do that like awkward, like they look at each other and then realize nothing's gonna happen and Star just like walks away?
I like that. So you have your route.
Star stealth away so she doesn't even know.
You have your route plan then. It's gonna be your ship moves a little bit faster. It's a little more kind of streamlined than a lot of the other than the ship that you're sailing before. Windwalker's more like warship. And so you'll be moving a little bit faster and be able to get there in about 2 months travel. So based on your planned route. The rest of you get your tattoos and all gear up for your journey. Anything anybody else is doing before you guys leave harbor?
I'm gonna stock up on tonic so that I can be helpful on the ship.
Okay. So you stock up on some of the advised seasickness remedies that you're able to find, or that are advised to you or recommended to you by a number of the sailors that come through that deal with the same affliction, and you're able to get what you need for the journey. All right. So as you all gather onto the ship with your route planned and the ship loaded up with supplies to get you through the journey, you take one last look up at Port Onrix, knowing that you can return at literally any time you want because you placed your little teleportation thing here, and kind of shrug it off and zoom out of the harbor. You begin to coast from the harbor. The what was the Wind's Bane now leaving as the Relentless Gale. So as your journey goes, let's see. So what I'm gonna have you do is make a navigation, now that you are actually navigating the ship. It's gonna be a check with navigator's tools, music wisdom. Den, you'll roll it. Star, you'll be assisting for the course of this journey.
Does that mean I get advantage?
Yes.
Yay!
Unless Star doesn't want to assist, that's up to.
I'll be assisting.
Yeah, the part of the assisting is you actually like getting your training and helping that way.
Okay, here we go. $22.
22. Okay, cool. So you're able to. You've sailed these waters plenty of times, Den. you know the routes and the shallows to avoid. You keep as close as you can to the divide without getting into any of the crags or the other outcroppings that you know exist in this region, but trying to make the shortest amount of time towards Yvrandal. As you continue your journey, you take the little bit longer route, taking some of the late winter winds that sweep through this vicinity, the same kind of biting cold persisting as you carry on your journey. I assume Lucius just spends most of his time in the ship below deck, trying to keep warm. Warmth being hard to come by on a ship made of wood. As you crest through the ocean waters, after about 3 weeks travel or so, you begin to come across some of the islands and other shallows that you recognize from your journey before, getting close to the area of Growdar. And you still come across every so often sticking up out of some more of the shallow waters or floating amongst the ocean, some driftwood and other pieces, though not to the extent you saw before, of broken ships, war vessels, signs of battle that have come through here, washed through without any real, and just sort of been casted away in the ocean waves. As you continue on your journey, you do come across a couple of other ships that travel this thoroughfare, being a more popular way to get out of the Yvrandal area towards Valeforge and Balavar. Most of them seem to be merchant ships and seem to keep a pretty fair distance from you, not really looking to start any trouble. As you hit that sort of pinch point between the divide and Growdar, you have to slow a bit, and the Star, you find yourself being a little more cautious navigating these waters and calling out your what you see to Den. So what I'm going to have here is a perception check from Star, as your kind of duties as navigator are coming more into effect here.
24.
24. Yeah, that's pretty good. You're able to notice and spot a couple of places as you navigate through here where you can see some wreckage from ships piling up, and you recognize those spots and very quickly are able to get Den to navigate around them, avoiding any damage to the ships. You also, with that check, are able to notice maybe about 200 yards off, 300 yards off, you see a section of the rocks. And it's again, very hard check to notice. You see a section of it that's sort of shifting and moving. And you're able to notice, looks like scales, like brownish scales, almost camouflaged against the rocky terrain. Your ship is currently on the path that it was on, heading pretty close to there, but you've noticed it in enough time to potentially avoid it if you'd like.
If you'd like.
If we don't want to crash into the thing that will probably be able to destroy the ship in one go, but I mean, who'd want to do that?
It could be a gold monster. It could pay you for finding it, like a leprechaun.
I've solved your monster puzzle.
I think the goal is going to be to avoid.
Okay. So what I'm going to have you do then, I'm trying to figure out a ship stealth check.
So I can't apply my +10 to stealth.
No, it's a little bit more difficult. However, you are able to help with this. So here's what I'm going to have you do. You're going to make a stealth check, Star, but you're going to be using your intelligence instead. So it still gets your expertise, but you're using your intelligence modifier. So this is more about finding the right route to keep from drawing attention. So just double your proficiency bonus plus intelligence.
Yeah.
Now we're doing real math.
21.
21. All right. Let me. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be enough. So as you steer past it, you're able to find a route using your perception and your kind of knowledge of how to best to stay undetected. You're able to find a path through the shallows that actually weaves around a smaller outcropping and keep the ship, for the most part, from causing any sort of disruption to this creature's habitat. As you're keeping an eye on it, though, you get a better vision of the creature. You see a long tail kind of wrapped around the bottom of the rocky outcropping, and large, sort of muscular arms draped over the top. And you also see what looks to be 4 heads, 4 long necks with heads at the end dangling down towards the water and asleep, while one is kind of very slowly keeping an eye out over the ocean waves in the opposite direction. It doesn't seem to notice you. Seems to have his back towards you, but definitely seem to have avoided this creature. As you're avoiding it, the rest of the crew has sort of gotten quiet, noticing what's going on. I don't know if you told anybody what you actually saw.
After we're past it and well out of the way, then I'll fill Den and everyone else in on what it was. You know, just so there isn't a mass panic and cannon firing and screaming, because that would be bad.
If you tell them, then Holly probably would have chimed in and be like, "Oh, damn it, we could have tried out the cannon." Well, fine. Useless.
Well, cheers to not dying today.
So, as you avoid this encounter, you continue making your way through Fellthorn Pass towards Yvrandal, and it's here that you're able to sort of get closer. The currents take you closer to the coast of Graudar. This being a region of Graudar that you aren't too familiar with, Star, being on the knoll side of things. You can make out the looming treetops, the jungles that look very much like home. Far in the distance, you can see some of the mountain spires and see birds sort of flock out from above the trees, cawing into the late afternoon sun. But all in all, it's pretty quiet, almost eerily quiet, but that is pretty common for Knoll territory from what you've heard.
Do we see Alfred Bernard Tross waving from the shore?
No, not yet. One day. As you make your way, continue to make your way, travel for the next 10 days or so. And by the way, if anybody's doing anything during this time, feel free to let you know. This is sort of the Indiana Jones, like pinging across the map and getting a few brief images of what's going on.
I used the entire 2 months to try to come up with a cool captain name. Probably unsuccessfully.
I'm assuming you're still not going to have one by the time.
It's Captain. Duh.
Captain.
No.
That's what Lucius is going to call her. Captain.
Lucius
when
is gonna
I
punch in the mouth.
He doesn't know that though.
He will.
When she punches him, he'll know. But right now, he doesn't.
When I'm not navigating, I am actually going to be drawing up my own sort of design for what is basically a sort of glove or harness with the sort of little blade claws on the end as my magic hand. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Wait, so you're coming with a harness for your...
Basically what it is, it's just a sort of glove or harness I can put on the other hand, so I can
I
do claws
see.
with both hands.
Okay. So you're trying to even the playing field between your...
Basically, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, you can begin to sort of draw that out. I'll say for the design of this, do you have proficiency in anything like blacksmithing or tinkering or anything like that?
I do not. My plan was to draw the initial thing up myself, then take it to Sædel.
Okay. We'll figure out how much this is going to help Sædel, so I'm just going to have you make an intelligence check.
Okay.
He just uses me for my skills.
That's a 10. So
Okay. As you bring the drawing over to Sædel to show him, Sædel hands you this piece of parchment. You see this really excited, I assume, look on Star's face as he shows it over, and you look at it and you're like,
is average. So
it could be a spider. No, and you turn upside down. Oh no, it's a hand, with claws at the end. It looks like a hand. Ish.
That is a hand.
So what the plan actually is, so I have the big claws on both hands. What I want to try and make is a sort of harness or gauntlet, so I can just do claws all the time.
And it's something that, as he explains it to you, you start to get a better image of what it was that he was drawing here.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm sure I can come up with something.
You'll probably be able to have a better picture than this at some point soon. I'm expecting he comes back an hour later with a much more detail.
We'll see. Do you want to work on the design for it during your travel, Sædel?
Hell yeah.
Okay. Wait, so you don't have the supplies for it, but you can start working on the design. So I'll have you make you can make an intelligence check with your, what do you have, tinkerers, blacksmithing? I don't remember what.
Both.
Tinker. We'll do tinkerers for this one. This is more of a tinkering thing.
And intelligence, you said?
And intelligence.
24.
Yeah, at like 45 minutes later, because you've already done a design similar to this with this is basically a less complicated version of the hand you already made. So yeah, it doesn't take you a long time.
Cool.
I don't know if you want to hold on it before showing it to Star to not damage his pride, but
Yeah, I'll give it a little bit.
Star spent all day working on his picture.
Just imagine crayons sitting on the deck of the ship trying to draw it out. Oh man, I'm gonna make crayons a thing in this world just so I can keep that image canon. All right. So yeah, you have the design.
No, go ahead.
So you have the design now, and once you have the supplies, you can start working on it. Yes.
I was. Lucius comes to Sædel probably a week or two into it. Sædel, can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure, what you need?
Well, I went shopping with you and saw the firearms and stuff. Since I don't know how to use them, I was wondering, how much ammo do you have? Because if we have 2 months on this, could you teach me how to use them? I don't want to waste your ammo though.
Oh, no, you can't waste the ammo. I get and I pulled a pouch off my hip and I'm this is sort of regenerates ammo, I guess you could say.
That's good to know. So I'm if you are willing to teach me, I would love to learn.
Of course, I'd be glad to.
Thank you. So that's what he's probably going to be doing for the next 2 months.
Okay. Yeah, you start working on training for that and getting a little bit better with the proficiency on that. You feel comfortable holding a gun now at this point.
One more thing while I remember, because we have all the time, and this is something Lou has probably forgotten about as well, is because I want to take up all of Sædel's time, is get that last months of lessons in Elven in.
Yes. I think you can do that, and I think you
Can Lucius do the tabaxi?
Yeah, you can. This is going to be enough time for you guys to finally finish that. So you guys spend a couple hours a day. You have your jobs around the ship, which takes up a little bit more of your time, but you still have enough to do and enough time to finish it out. And at the end of basically like halfway through your trip right now, you guys are finally at a level where you are proficient in the languages you have studied. So Lucius, you now know Tabaxi, and Star, you now know Elven. Congratulations.
I go and talk to Sædel.
Yes.
Sædel, you have a nice like workshop now with the armory and everything, and it's just like a revolving door. Like you could probably install a revolving door on it if you wanted to.
I would love to install a revolving door on it.
All right.
I imagine that happens only after like 3 days.
No, I want it to be a swinging door, so that way it like will surprise them and like hit them on the way out.
Okay, yeah, you do that. I imagine it's gonna be like that scene from The Emperor's New Groove where people are like going in the door and out the door.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
I don't actually have anything important to say. How do you like the new workshop?
Oh, go ahead.
I love it. It is everything I could have asked for.
Great. I just wanted to check in, see how things are going, you know.
Sean, how much of the stuff that we talked about did I actually like gather? Is it just like bits and pieces, or
Drugs.
Anything that I sent you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
He actually probably a week or two into it, after it's at night and everything and everyone's kind of like calmed down, he knocks on Din's door.
Come in.
And it comes in. Captain, if you're not busy, I know we've had a long few days. Could I talk to you for a moment?
Yeah?
Sweet. Comes in, shuts the door. You know when we fought Captain Hound and Lil did that awesome thing where she exploded the totem thing?
Yeah?
Yeah. You're a woman of the cloth, and I know you don't.
It's
really...
plate now. I knock on it.
Woman of the plate.
It doesn't sound as cool as I thought it would.
Either one works for me, I guess. And I know you're not really big into the clerical stuff, if that sounds right.
No. I'm a cleric. What are you trying to say?
And he reaches into like his coat and he pulls probably a handful of the totem pieces that he found and like lays them on the desk. When I got knocked out the last time, I can't actually remember. Did he tell Dan about the first vision or not? Because I don't think he's told anybody, right?
He said he saw some weird stuff, but
it's going to be hard to explain. When I got knocked out, helping Star back in Graudar, I saw some things when I died, and you guys tried to bring me back. I don't know if you remember, but it took a lot to bring me back that first time. The reason was I went somewhere. And he kind of explains the whole 3 parts: ash, smoke, fire, seeing the dude whose name I can't remember, but it's in my notes. The Great Shadow. And at first I thought it was just out-of-body experience. Never died before, you know. But then it happened again. And before I was brought back to consciousness, this being, this creature, this entity, looked at me and told me maybe I could be the next champion. And over the past 2 weeks, I've talked to the Reverie about it, and her power does not go that close to death. She's not comfortable with it, which I can see why. I'm kind of nervous, and this thing has been with me for most of my life. And after seeing Hound do what he did, it's the first time I've ever seen anyone else have these capabilities. And so I wanted at least someone to know, and since you're kind of my best friend, I wanted you to know that I was researching all of this, and if something happens that maybe turns me into Hound, you will drown me in the sea or something so I don't hurt anybody. I know it's a lot to ask, but I don't think it's right for me to research this kind of in secret when, if something happens and I go completely and utterly insane and try to kill everyone, no one would know. And you're kind of the one person I know that could probably take me out if need be.
Okay. I mean, I don't really know a lot about this stuff, but
I don't either. That's why I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm curious, but I'm also cautious after seeing what Hound did.
well, if you start to feel weird or like especially evil or something, just say something.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't expect anything to happen from everyone that I've talked to and kind of the small research that I've been able to do. Not a lot of people write this stuff down and talk about it, probably for good reason. But
Yeah, mostly because writing's really boring, probably.
you do know, like, part of my job here is to write, right? Oh, yeah, well, that explains a lot. But yes, it's... No one even has, like, tales of him, like, a tradition. They kind of just pushed it out of memory. Hopefully South Harbor or someone close has some kind of library I can pillage, but hopefully it doesn't come that far.
Do you know what it is?
You're gonna have to make me look at my notes. Hold on.
Is it like a bad god? Is it
I don't know.
a demon? Do you know?
Well, the 3 that I saw or that I've researched is the one that talked to me was King, and Sean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, King Mort? I know it's him.
Moarta.
Of the Hollow-Eyed. He's a phantom of some...
It's just the Hollow-Eyed. It's
Oh.
just Moarta the Hollow-Eyed.
The Hollow-Eyed. Gotcha. He's a phantom of some sort. He kind of looks like what you referred to as Squiggles, the vapor puppet I can cast. Just bigger, scarier, more powerful, green flaming eyes. It's kind of weird. The other 2 is a demon and a devil. I don't know much about them other than that.
So a demon, a devil, and a phantom?
A phantom.
Well... I'm gonna ask this question. Already sort of knowing the answer. I've never heard of anything like this.
Make a wisdom check.
Dropped my mic. I apologize.
I think we should call him King Mort.
we should.
It's a less scary
Morty. He's Morty.
name. Wisdom check. 12.
Okay. You don't know much outside of what he said, or at least you're not recalling much of this time. They're powerful, sort of dark entities, the anathemas of the gods, essentially. And as you said before, the archdevil, the archdemon, and the archphantom, the three beings of badness. Not really much else you know outside of there. It wasn't really something you studied very much.
I didn't study almost at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know a whole lot about any of that. Really anything from books, mostly. But, you know... I don't really know. Honestly, I don't really know too much about this kind of thing. I mean... But I do know enough to protect people from that kind of thing, so...
Yeah, I'm probably going to tell Lil as well, just the two divine people on this ship. Probably a good place to ask. But I wanted to tell you first, because like I said, you kind of are my best friend. But...
I'm really your best friend.
Yeah, well, what do you ask? We're pirate buddies now, and he kind of waves his tail with the new tattoo.
That's cool.
But yes, you are my best friend. And I think that you kind of, one as that, and two as the captain of the ship, you kind of deserve to know first.
I appreciate you telling me. And I don't know how much help I'll be, but I'll try.
It's good to know that someone else knows.
And there's, you know, I mean, I know spells and prayers and things like that, but I don't know. I mean, I know you're not super keen on the gods.
Kind of reaches into his pocket and like shows still he has the prayer like in his pocket, and he goes, I've kept it here for the whole time.
But, you know, I mean, if it's something that you become more interested in over time, you know, I know things about that too.
Do you have a book I can read?
No. It's all in here. But really, I mean, I wasn't, you know, I mean,
I know.
You know how I am now, but I wasn't always like this.
I know.
And people come to the gods in a lot of different ways, so...
Maybe one day, I don't know. Heck, who knows, maybe I'll have to ask some deity, because it's the only person or being that can tell me anything about these three other beings.
I'll pray about it.
Thank you. And he kind of gathers the stuff and kind of goes to Lil at this point. Lilibet, are you okay?
Yeah, still come in. Seasickness is better this time, but it's still kind of gross.
Peeks in. Is it safe to be?
Yeah, I cleaned it up. We're good.
Okay, good. I remember the last time it was.
It's better this time. The tonics are helping.
Good. This is going to be interesting. I just told Den this, and I was going to tell you this because, like I told her, two divine beings on the ship probably need to know. You know when you destroyed that totem?
Yeah, wasn't that awesome?
Well, yes.
I was badass. I'm sorry, but it was awesome. Okay,
yes.
Anyway,
it was completely badass. I may have taken pieces of said totem after you destroyed it.
Why?
What Hound can do, or did before you turned his entire head region into ash.
That was cool too.
Was is very similar as to what I can do, just more and bad. When I was taken out by Hound before you brought me back, or someone brought me back, I don't know who it was.
It was Den.
Before Den brought me back. He again tells the whole story about the Phantom and blah blah blah. When the second time, when Hound killed me, this Phantom, this being, came and told me that maybe I would be the next champion. It's been with me for most of my life, just because squiggles. But I've never met anyone else who could do what he did, so I've been researching it. I don't expect to turn completely and utterly evil, but if I do, I kind of want the two most powerful people on this ship to know, so they can, like, drown me in a bathtub somewhere if I get evil.
Okay, well, this is probably an insensitive question, but I'm gonna ask it. Because that's what I do. You don't want to be evil, do you?
See, if I was already evil, would I say no? Of course not, because you would. But no,
I will put a zone of truth down if you don't play nicely.
No, I don't want to be evil. I'm not looking to be evil.
Okay, well that's a good start. So you just want to know more about kind of why you have these powers?
They've been in my family for generations. One in every, I think, 4 or 5 generations it happens. Sometimes it skips, sometimes it's back to back. I've never met anyone else who could do the things that I do. And it was interesting to see someone who could. And then the Phantom kind of came to me when I died and made sure that I could not come back except when it wanted it to. I don't want to be this thing's champion. Just by what I saw, it is an evil beyond what I even want to assume it could be.
Well, I am gonna tell you, that totem was bad news. That totem was... I walked into that room and it was like all joy was gone. Everything good was gone. That room was stark. So, I will do everything in my power to let that not happen to you.
Thank you. I don't believe in deities. I know they exist because I know what you and Den can do. I don't really put faith in them, I guess. I put faith in the people who use their power. But Den has been helping, and I know you have a different deity, so in your prayers, if you want to ask or see if Lilith, if I'm saying that correctly, can help. I mean, I wouldn't say no to help. Everything that I found so far, most of the people on this world say they won't even come close to anything that has to deal with the archdemons, devils, or phantom. So maybe something stronger will know. I don't know. I've been dealing with it alone for a little bit now, and I don't think that's good.
No, I agree. I think it's good to know what you're up against. I think the research is good, but I think finding power in your friends instead of this icky thing is good.
Yeah, I would completely agree with you.
So, we'll do it. Don't worry. We got your back. And soul. Ha!
So, that's good. Hopefully the sickness stops.
I don't know if it's gonna stop, but we'll keep... As long as Star navigates us to less water, you know, it's those waves, man. They get me good.
See, I mean, I wonder, because I know Ondokir has sky ships. Would you get the same sickness in the sky, I wonder?
Do we rock and roll like we do on the ship in the sky ships?
Hey, Sean, would he know if the sky ships, like, still hit turbulence?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a different kind of...
Then probably. I'd painted the inside of whatever room they gave me.
Well, that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, but these tonics are helping, I promise.
Well,
I mean, I'm standing. This is
That's
a good. This
and
is
you're
an
talking.
improvement.
And you're talking. Like, you've been talking for a good few moments, so...
Yeah,
that's always
so we're good.
Thank you. I will let you get your rest and all of that.
No worries. Don't worry so much, okay? We got you.
I mean, I was just grabbed, probably by the soul, by an evil arch phantom and told maybe I would be a champion. I'm going to worry. But...
Don't let it consume you, because then that's what they want.
I'll take that to heart. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
And he kind of leaves. He goes back to his own quarters and makes sure that all the provisions and stuff are good to go.
Okay.
Sean,
Yeah.
in the 2 months, Lil would like to work on, I don't know if, like, because we didn't quite talk about this, is there a specific area where she does her surgeoning? Like, is there like a sick bay or something along those lines?
Yeah. There's like there's a medical quarters.
Okay. So in just 2 corners of that, she would like to set up an altar to Lelavath and an altar to Seraphine. Please.
Okay.
That's what Lil would like to do.
Yeah, you can definitely do that.
Awesome. Thanks.
All right. So, any other conversations or anything happening during this journey? Okay. So, as you all have some time to converse and have these interactions throughout your journey, you eventually, after the full 2 months of travel, with your navigating skills at this point, are pretty certain you are arriving close to South Harbor. Even Sædel, as the native of South Harbor, you see the shoreline, you start to recognize some of the terrain, and you get an idea that you're getting pretty close. Excitedly, you find yourself kind of standing on the deck and looking out towards the city on many of the mornings as you get up. And on one such morning, as you wake, you standing out on the deck, bundled up in any furs you have, because it is pretty cold still. It's getting the end of winter at this point. At the end of the 2 months, and it's that last sort of like grip of winter that is currently just holding on for dear life. As the ship rounds a curve in the terrain, kind of heading along the shoreline, you see as you round the cliff faces, the terrain sort of drop off and flatten out, and you see in front of you your home. All of you looking out see a section of the coastline that comes into a curve, and you see hundreds of ships dotting this harbor, the docks of which stretching out in crisscross patterns, the ships evenly spaced throughout. And sitting on a slightly raised area of the coast, at the edge of this harbor, is a beautiful sight, a city the likes of which you haven't seen for some time, and you had almost forgotten its beauty, some of you having departed from here in your first travels to Raldar. The city has no walls surrounding it. It sits sort of bared at the top of this cliffside, and you see these white and silver spires jutting up from it, these beautiful glistening buildings dotted throughout. It is built taller and more narrow than many cities that you've ever encountered or have ever experienced. And as you approach, you can see the glistening lights in the sort of early morning, as it is right now, these arcane lights that illuminate the outside of the city. And wrapped around many of the buildings and interwoven, you see these silver lines, these bands that trace throughout the city streets. And then for an instant, you'll see kind of a flash of light and a spark of electricity trace down the rails, followed by a car that zooms around the edge. You see these lightning rails that propel different vehicles throughout the city. And it's this beautiful futuristic sight that is alien to many of you, but Sædel, it is your home. And you coast into the harbor, finding a spot near the outskirts of it, not wanting to make your way into any of the main thoroughfares from any of the trading vessels. You weigh anchor just to the outskirts of the city and find yourselves in South Harbor.
Welcome home, Sædel.
It's good to be back. Let's get this stuff unloaded.
All right.
I'm freaking out about the lightning car, whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
What is that?
We don't even have them back home.
You know, now I'm actually here, like, properly, I may have a chance to actually ride it now.
How does it do that?
How are they built? What powers them? Like, what?
It's lightning, Lucius.
I know it's lightning, but like, are there people at each car that's doing? How does this work? Tell me how this works.
I go in. They have never heard Sædel talk so much in their lives. That he goes into so like excruciating detail about just everything.
Den, you're within like.
Oh god, Den's
10
really
minutes
torn
of this.
because she loves how happy Sædel is, but she's so bored.
And then, like mid sentence, he'd be like, "Anyway, we should probably, get to work, I suppose."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have things to unload. We will talk about this later because that is. I need the right one. Excuse me.
So, Lucius, I assume you know where we're taking this stuff.
I assume the manifest says exactly who I'm taking this.
Yeah. You know which company that you're supposed to take these to. The manifest actually says that it's being given to the stalwart keepers. It's part of the provisions that they've requested from from Rabbit, which he's apparently being paid a pretty hefty sum from as you look at the manifest. But you have an idea who you can send it to, and you've got people you can delegate to send if you want to have them carry it off and take it to the right warehouse. But that's
I mean, it's his job.
your job is to oversee it. You don't have to go, but if you want to go,
Oh, he's going just to make sure that it all gets there in one piece,
okay.
and
Rest-
so no one steals it.
Okay.
I send Cleve with him because she's big and strong.
Okay. You can do that. The rest of you, are you waiting for Lucius to get back? Are you guys going to the city, or where are you going?
I'm kind of following whatever Sædel does because it's his home, and I don't want to steal any of his thunder because this is his home.
Sædel, where would you like to
So
go?
where do we go?
I want to go home.
You want to go home? Okay. Do you want to go to the shop, or do you want to actually go to your house?
What time of day is it?
It's hitting about mid-morning at this point.
Okay.
So businesses are open. You imagine that Furore. You imagine that she is, you imagine that she is probably working at this point. That her shop is opened right now, so there probably won't be anybody at home.
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm gonna go to her store.
Okay. Which actually, I guess she would be sort of between running your store and hers. Well, they're right next to each other, so we're right across the street from each other. So you'll go to both.
Yeah. We'll go to mint condition first,
Yeah.
which is her store's name.
Yeah. Okay. So
Everything in this game is a pun.
So as you make your way towards the city, following the docks, Lucius, you go with the crew members that you're having carry the crates of weaponry towards one of the warehouses that is marked on your manifest. I assume you guys kind of give him directions as to where you're going, or yeah, okay.
Oh yeah.
Probably not.
Okay. You have a general idea of where you're going to go after this, but we'll see how well Lucius navigates the city. So as you guys head off towards the stairs that lead up, or the kind of the roadway that winds up towards the buildings, Lucius, you round to the right and head down the harbor towards the warehouses. As you make your way, kind of marking warehouse number 13, 14, 15, there you go. And you come up to the warehouse, you can see about 5 or 6 guards standing outside of it. All of them wearing the regalia of the stalwart keepers, which hasn't been common throughout here, but this warehouse specifically looks like it is been requisitioned for them. As you round the corner, you see one of the keepers notice you and the cargo you're carrying and step up with a clipboard and says, coming or going?
We're dropping off stuff from Rabbit.
Skip Rock Supplies?
That's it. That's the one.
He looks over his papers, flips. Ah. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it's all here.
It better be all here.
The crew that's holding kind of gives you a look like, what do we do? And Cleve, who's standing behind you, this large half-orc woman, is kind of looking back and says, I wouldn't trust them either.
I don't trust anybody. It's kind of part and parcel.
Yeah, and you can see the guards around kind of giving you side eye as you're standing there, and the one who's dealing with you seems like he doesn't even care. But a couple of the other guards are definitely giving you all looks as you're approaching.
He resists the urge to turn and go boo.
The one with the clipboard puts the papers back and says, just put them down over there. That's all we need. Payment will be delivered, of course, as per our arrangement. And for your troubles, he reaches back and puts forward a handful or a pouch of jingling gold pieces into your hands. Probably about 150 gold pieces. It says, for your troubles and that of your crew.
That works. Okay. He kind of delegates and helps put everything down, and again, like, make sure that it's all there.
Yeah. And they do, and one by one they go over with crowbars and pull open the crates, look through and see the weaponry. You see one filled with rifles and then one filled with shields. These beautiful shields that like almost like long tower shields, but with a divot on the top. You gather as one of them takes it, they take it out and begin to look at them. They take the rifle, one of them sort of feeling its weight, place it on top of the shield, feels it. Looks good, Captain. And begins to hand all the weaponry back, and they begin to unload it into the warehouse. Some of the other ones with armor and other supplies in it. As your crew begins to sort of kind of breathing heavily after carrying those heavy armaments, they begin to head back towards the docks. One of the clipboard gives a nod towards you. You're doing business.
Yep, same to you.
The 6 watch over you. And,
yes, all of that.
He gives you...
Wait, hold on. What is... Savannah, what is the main thing you say for your deity? Or what does Din say if she says anything about her deity? Like, may the waves guide you or some craziness?
May Our Lady watch over you and guide you to the eye of the storm?
Yeah, that's what he says. When the guy's like, may the Six watch over you, he says that and then turns and walks away.
He sort of shrugs. I mean, if you say that, like, he's not like,
Yeah.
kill the non-believer.
Clipboard fight!
Sort of recognizes it as, okay, you're a holy man too. It's fine as long as you're not, one of those stinking atheists. So anyway, you drop off the supplies. The crew begins to head back. A few of them kind of look to the gold, the pouch of gold that you're carrying. Kind of.
Oh yeah, he divvies it out.
Okay. How much do you give to each crew member?
Well, I mean, if it's like 150, just kind of like split it evenly among everyone.
Okay.
Because he's kind.
Okay. So you had 10 with you plus yourself. So 15 gold a piece ish. Okay. Divvies out amongst them. Look at it. See, pretty appreciative, and they put it in their own pouches and head back to the ship.
They'll remember this.
Yeah. They will. If this was a Telltale game, it would. Or approval plus 10 for each gold piece. It fills up your screen. All right, and you're left there, and the city to your right, and the docks to your left. I'm guessing you're heading to catch up with your friends. Or what would you like to do?
What do I know about South Harbor?
I don't think you came through here.
I did not.
When you were before, so nothing.
Then I'm gonna go find my friends.
Okay.
Probably get lost in the process.
Make me a survival check.
Of course.
I'll give you advantage because I gave you directions.
That'll be a ton of help. Advantage. Survival?
Yes.
13.
13. Okay. You go heading off towards where you think they might be. The rest of you made it to the top of the hill, and you head into this beautiful city. There are white sort of concrete or stone walkways that lead between these buildings. Most of the ones on the outskirts of the city here being shorter, like 2-story buildings. You hear this lively city atmosphere. The people walking to each side of the street as large sort of carts pull their way through the streets. The carts not being pulled by horses, but instead being powered through arcane devices as they make their way slowly through these city streets. Not a whole lot of them, about one every 5 or 10 minutes will pass by, but you also see on the lightning rails above you, occasionally as a car will go by, or basically like a small train kind of loops its way around and make its way through the city, which is much larger than you expected. Seeing it on the hill, it kind of pushes back into the expanse of Yvrandal before you. And a motorcycle drives by. Pursued by cop cars, and we go into a police chase. No, that's not what happens. But as you make your way through the city, it's much of the people are very similar to the people of any other cities you've been in. It's very clean, very utopian almost. A little too clean. Everything powered by arcane devices. You see crystals powering lanterns, and people stepping out of stores and pulling out these whirling gadgets from their belts that they're using to decipher, tell time, and all in all, you sort of realize, looking at Sædel and looking at this town, that he's actually a normal guy here with all his doohickeys and magical devices, and it's not too far off from his appearance. And all in all, it's a it's kind of an overwhelming sensation. But there are shops and bakeries and other things along the way, large like factories too, where you see they construct many of these devices. You notice a couple things while you're out here. You don't see any beggars. You don't see like street urchins and things like it's very clean. Everyone has a job to do, and everyone is in doing their part. Essentially, it's very, again,
Sædel's a communist.
very utopian almost. And yeah, I mean it's sort of like creepy. Everybody's very friendly and speaking to one another.
Oh my God, it's Canada.
Yeah. As you make your way down the city streets, Sædel, you knowing the way, these thoroughfares being like knowing them like the back of your hand, you wind your way through the streets. Sædel, make me an insight check.
$20.
Okay. You notice as you're kind of herding your group through the city streets, you notice a few looks over in your direction, a few odd looks at your party members. I mean, being some of them looking different than like wearing full plate armor. You've got a tabaxi with you, which still, like a lot of people in Yvrandal, I've never seen a tabaxi before.
One of whom is not wearing shoes.
One of whom's not wearing shoes. But there's a lot of looks in your direction, which is pretty typical for travelers. But you also know something else, that a few people look to you as well. And people that you don't know sort of look to you and look like they recognize you. And there's a moment where you see a couple people stop and look over your direction and sort of back up. And it's very subtle. But a few people look like they're afraid of you. Just like a couple here and there. And as you're walking through the city streets, it becomes a little bit of a pattern that one person on every street corner seems to almost recognize you. But not really.
I ignore it.
Okay.
I'm aware of it, but I don't I'm not going to do anything or say anything.
Okay. As you make your way down the thoroughfare, eventually reaching towards the heart of the city, you see far beyond the looming towers, the white and silver towers that you guys saw as you were approaching. You get a little closer to those. You see the circle of towers in the center of the city with this massive, like, glowing, hovering crystals between them, kind of displayed before you. You finally get a good look at it. It's an immense sight to behold for those of you that hadn't seen it before. And as you round the corner, you come up to where your shop would be, knowing that a couple shops down in mint condition, you can almost see the sign. You pass by Sædel's battle cry, and the windows are boarded up. The doors are boarded up. Like, Fort Knox, like, totally boarded.
Sædel, didn't you leave somebody in charge?
Is this boarded up more than
somebody left for a couple days and didn't want to get robbed, or more than there was, I mean, it's like essentially like do not enter, like nobody should be going in here sort of.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's nothing too serious. I left Ferrore to watch over the shop, but running two shops with one person can be pretty difficult, so.
Are there any notices or anything up on the boards, or
on the boarded up part of the windows and stuff? No, there's no no postings or anything on those. Nothing there.
Is there any way to see inside?
There are like small, like, kind of cracks there if you wanted to peer inside.
Yeah, try to look in.
Okay. You put your face up to it and look through. It's dark. You don't see anybody moving around. You can see the outlines of like shelves and hooks on the walls where things would be hanging. The shop looks empty though, like there's nothing on display, nothing currently being sold inside the shop. Looks like it's been cleared out.
But it's not like damaged, like something happened, it just everything's gone.
Yeah.
There's nothing inside.
Yeah, well, we can always ask Ferrore about it later.
Should we go find it?
You guys go down to mint condition?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You start heading down the street. You can see the sign grows larger. You see a green sign hanging from a post coming up from the wall. Has these like 4-leaf clovers on the edge and kind of little alchemy flasks, and it has the in golden scrawling across it says mint condition. And you see the windows of the shop are not boarded up. The shop looks open. You see the scrawling on the windows as well, in the gold paint to match. The door is open, and you can hear some kind of movement inside, or you can see somebody moving around inside. It's still like there's not a lot of people on the street, nobody in the shop currently, but you can see somebody moving around within.
I walk in.
Okay, you walk in the shop. As you push open the door, the bell overhead rings, ding, 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 and you see the figure over towards the counter whirl around. All of you see beautiful, long black hair, this tall, thin, ivory-skinned elven woman with piercing blue eyes looking out towards you, and sort of with an effervescent twirl, she spins looking towards you with her apron, kind of whipping around with her, having the same scrawling and the same logo on the front. And she, with a smile, looks down and says, "Welcome!" And she pauses mid-sentence as soon as she sees you, Sædel, and you see her smile, and then you see her smile fade for a second. And she rushes over towards you, and she throws her arms around you, and she says, "I'm so glad you're okay. Oh, God, I was so worried." And she pulls away, and she looks around. She looks scared. And she looks towards all of you. She says, "And you too, all of you, come in. Sædel, we need to get you away from the windows."
Why?
"Quickly now, quick." She points to Lil. She says, "Lil, pull the curtain closed. Lock the door." She begins to pull you all into the shop.
Is everything okay?
As Lil pulls the curtains and the door's locked, she pulls you back. She says, "You don't know? Here." And she reaches behind the counter and she pulls out a stack of papers and she puts them in your hand. She says, "I didn't know if it was true." And you look at the papers and you see your face on it, like an artist's rendering of your face. And you see traitor across the front. And as you read down, you see Sædel's July, wanted, treason against the faith, dead or alive. And as you look at that one, you flip back and you see one of Den, one of Lilibet, one of Star, one of Barb, one of Lucius. Theirs don't say traitor. Theirs just say wanted fugitives or wanted criminals. And she looks at you and kind of tries to get your eye contact. She says, "Is it true?"
Why don't we sit down and I can tell you everything?
Okay, let's go to the back. She looks around. She says, "Are the other two with you?"
Did Lucius catch up with us?
Not yet.
I'll go out
well-
and find Lucius quickly. He should be
Yeah.
between here and the warehouses.
She looks at us. Just move quickly. Make sure the guards don't see you.
I'll be fine. I'll be back as quickly as I can.
Wait. Boop. Enhance ability.
Okay.
Cat's grace.
All right.
Wait, hold on. There's something I want to do too. I can help. I can be helpful.
I can do this.
I can be something. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cast Bless on. Well, it's 3 of us, but so let's say it's definitely gonna be on Star, and let's give it to Sædel and myself because I'm a selfish person. And so, saving throws, you get a D4, and if you have to attack, you get a extra D4.
Okay. It does only last. Just so you know, it does only last a minute.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
a pretty long walk.
Great. Well, it's fine.
Yeah.
Then-
I don't want to ruin your fun, but it'll last till he gets to about the end of the street.
That's fine.
It's in a fight.
It's a troublesome little street. Okay.
He's gonna walk out the door and like 4 guards are standing there.
Okay. As you head out the door, Star, are you doing anything, or are you just?
Hood up. I am going to be going stealthily through the streets, trying not to be seen by as many people as possible.
Okay. So we'll get to that in a second. As you
As-
head out the door, pulling up your hood. Go ahead. You're muted.
Oh God, it's a curse today. As he leaves, I'll just say, if you find trouble, come back. Don't fight a bunch of people.
So, Star, you pull up your hood and you dart out into the city streets, trying to stay as close to the shadows, going down narrow corridors best you wish. I'll have you roll stealth in a second. Lucius, you are making your way through the city, unaware of what's going on. However, I'd like you to make a perception check.
Cool. Perception. Huh, 11.
Okay. So in sort of the cinematic of this, you see Lucius walking down city streets. You see the turn where you guys had taken to kind of head right down one alleyway, and he keeps going straight. And about 20 yards behind him, you all see 2 armed and armored figures walking, staying back in the crowd. Lucius not seeming to be aware. That's where we're going to take our break right now. And we'll come back to see how this plays out. So, be back in 10 minutes. Sound good? All right. See everybody back here at in 10 minutes from now. Welcome back, everyone. We'll just get back into it. Don't really have any announcements. Want to see how this plays out. So,
This episode of Survivors Complex is brought to you by We're All Eating Our Feelings Away.
Hashtag, does Lucius die again?
we will see. So as we kind of come back into the scene here, we have Lucius kind of lost on the city streets of South Harbor, being a complicated city to navigate on a normal day. Even more so when you don't know where you're going. Being pursued about 20 yards behind or so by two stalwart keepers who seem to be following him for some reason. And Star, you have just left mint condition, trying to find your friends. So Star, I'm going to have you make 2 checks. Stealth check with advantage.
So, this is a bit risky, but 28?
28. You're immediately caught. 28. So you are kind of staying to the shadows, moving Assassin's Creed style through groups of people, just like intermixing yourself in their conversations, then moving to another crowd. So you think you're pretty much out of sight. Nobody's really drawn attention to you, even though you're kind of tabaxi nature, you're hiding because of your hood. I need you now to make a perception check to keep a lookout for your tiefling friend.
25.
25. Okay. So you head as quickly as you can back in the direction towards the harbor, keeping an eye out, seeing if there might be any sign that you might meet Lucius halfway. As you're making your way through, you're starting to get back towards where you think you should run into him, and you realize that you're not seeing him. And he shouldn't be that far behind you. So you wheel around and you begin to look through the city streets. And just ahead of you, see rounding a corner, you make out the red horns of Lucius through the crowd. Easy enough to spot amongst the mostly human and elven population, with a couple of dwarves here and there, but they're not blocking your view too much. It's true, they're short.
I don't know how to feel about that one.
It's just science, okay? As you, Dent, did you? You were saying you said something in the chat. I wanted to see if you want to say that out loud or if you were.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh no, it's fine. Do you do that? Because that'll change the scene. That's why I was making sure.
Oh. No, not to Lucius.
Okay. Never mind. I was checking. Oh, never mind. I saw in the chat. That's me being a DM and only seeing the last message that comes up in the chat. I'll just keep ignoring that. Sorry, everyone that didn't understand this awkwardness that's going on right now. Back to the game. As you see Lucius round the corner, Star, his horns and his tiefling appearance disappearing out of sight. You can see about 20 yards behind him, you notice 2 armored figures that follow and then kind of stop at the corner, then round it as well.
Well, I guess I'm going that way.
Okay. So you quickly go rushing up behind, being a little more deliberate and traveling a little bit more directly. As you come up to that corner, you see them walking. And Lucius, you've turned right where you think you're supposed to go, and around you realize this probably isn't where you're supposed to be, because it's kind of a smaller and alleyway, and it comes to a dead end. You stop there and turn around, and you see 2 guards walking behind you that are sort of blocking your way through the alleyway, and they stop about 10 feet behind you, say, Lost.
Nope, know exactly where I'm going.
What's a tiefling doing in Yvrandal?
Well, one of two things. One, either I'm an outcast to my people and everyone wants me dead, or I'm some kind of spy, in which case everyone wants me dead. So either way, to me, the answer is null and void.
Seems a little bit thrown off by your response and looks at the other guard who says, "Cute. What's your name?"
Does it really matter?
He reaches behind him, pulls out like a crumbled up piece of paper, takes out a couple and flips through. He says, "I'd say it matters. What's your name?"
James.
Make a deception check.
The most fantasy of names.
God, I hope this works.
My name is Chad.
14?
All right.
This would be amazing if it works.
I rolled a 2 and a natural 1. So,
Not the sharpest tools in the shed.
one of them kind of goes, "Well, all right." The other one stops him for a second and says, "All right, James. And what's your business here in South Harbor?" You can see him sort of being put away the papers.
I worked on one of the merchant ships. I was went to the warehouse to drop some things off, and then it's my first time to South Harbor, so I'm just never been. I haven't really been out of Unduk here in a while, so might as well check out the city. It's beautiful. Hence why I'm in like a back alley, because I don't know.
Make a persuasion check, because it's technically true.
Yeah. This is gonna be so bad because it's a charisma. 6. It's 6.
He takes a step forward. Says, "If you work on the docks, you should stay at the docks. We don't want tieflings rolling around our city. Come with me. I'll escort you back."
Fine, I completely understand. With the war going on, that's fine. Just lead the way.
Star, as you're sort of standing at the corner, you're seeing this exchange going. Make me a perception check. See if you hear what the conversation.
8.
Yes. You you watch this conversation. You're not really able to hear over the rabble of the street, and you just see the two guards begin to approach Lucius, who sort of disarmingly starts walking towards them.
That's what I know Star were doing. It'll sound like bullshit. That's the big problem. Is there any other way I could get any inflection of what exactly is going on with this?
Okay.
Even if I have to roll with disadvantage.
Make an insight check. I'll just make it a straight insight check because you're sort of reading Lucius, which is a little bit easier.
18.
Okay. You get the idea he's not being arrested. You don't know what's going on. He seems a little too calm at this point to be getting arrested or something. But you get that idea.
Well, I'm pretty damn sure that I can't take those two guards. I'm pretty damn sure me and Lucius can't take those two guards in close combat. My best option is just to follow, to be honest.
Okay. You watch her kind of staying out of the shadows. You see Lucius and the guards come walking out of the alleyway and start walking back down towards the docks. The two guards seeming to lead him that direction.
I'ma just sneakily follow.
Okay. You follow Lucius. They're leading you through the city streets. You see two guards escorting a tiefling. Does not inspire a lot of joy amongst the crowds. They seem pretty thrown off, wondering who you are, what you're doing. A lot of them seem frightened of you. You imagine the stories they've probably heard about tieflings, given the recent combat. And as you wind your way or make your way down back to the harbor, they escort you to the docks once again. The two of them standing there and saying, "Just stay out of the city, all right?"
Yeah, I can do that.
All right. They head back up the walkway towards the city.
When they're gone back up to the city, it's like I just walk past Lucius, just grab hold of his shoulder, just quick, follow me.
Yeah, I got the impression they don't want me here.
And the first thing I do is lead him straight into one of the alleyways, and he's invisible.
Okay, turn Lucius. Because my next question is going to be some stealth checks going back, but that'll make it a little bit easier. So you turn him invisible, which. Sorry, good.
Just keep following me. Do not, make sure you can see me at all times. We have to get to where we're going quickly without being seen.
You do understand that you can disappear into thin air.
I was hoping, I kind of had to save one of those for you, so I prefer not to use the only other option I have for that right now.
Good enough to me. I will try to keep up with you.
And I will start making my way back towards the shop.
Okay, you make another stealth check with advantage.
Oh, wow, 15.
15. All right. Okay. So you go making your way down the city streets. This time, not as stealthily as before, and you get a couple of people looking your way. One little child going past me, kind of like kitty. As you walk down the streets, the mom said, "Shh, honey, quiet," and sort of like, "Don't be racist." As you go walking your way down the streets, you don't seem to draw the attention of the guards. You're able to avoid them for the most part, and eventually the two of you make it back to mint condition.
I can't believe I'm about to do this, but it's probably the only way I'll know it's me. I scratch at the door with my claws and meow.
The secret knock of Star.
Oh, it's them.
Or so you just hear at the door the meow.
Oh, good. Somebody left their cat out again.
It would have been really perfect if Jax had tried to open the door right at that moment.
I'll go let them in.
Okay, you let them in. For sitting in the back with Sædel, the two of you having your conversation. So going back to that, before Star gets there, as they're on their way back, Ferrora sits down at the table with you. What do you tell her, Sædel?
As much as I can.
Okay.
I give her all the important details and
Okay, so
about the racist douchebag that we pissed off.
All right. So as you're telling her the story, that's when, as you're wrapping it up, Star and Lucius arrive again, and your whole group is now in the back of mint condition, in sort of a back room area to the shop, sitting at a table. Flora's sort of nervously made some tea. sitting there next to you, Sædel, and listening. As you finish your story, she gives a nod. She says, "Okay. Well, I got your letters, so I understand that things got pretty bad. I'm glad you're okay. He sounds like a dick. We had some guards. Come on, I'm sure you saw your shop. Believe me, you're...
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that, but I was too excited to see you to worry."
She sort of blushes a bit and smiles. She says, I'm glad to see you too. I really was worried. Anyway, about 4 months ago or so, some officials from the Temple of the Six and the Stalwart Keepers came here. They were looking for you. They said that you were a traitor, that you had committed treason and attacked or defied an order given to you about one of the commandants, who I assume is the one you told me of. Well, I told them you weren't here, and you weren't. They searched my home, our home, my shop, your shop, and your parents. They went everywhere looking for you, but obviously you weren't here. Well, they seized Sædel's battle cry. Restitution for your crimes. They said they'd put a lien on it, and then we could have it back if we paid the restitution for it. Well, we don't have that kind of money.
Do I want to know?
50,000. Like I said, I'd have to sell mint condition just to pay half of that.
We're not gonna do that.
I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. I did everything I could. I went to the council. I went to all of the guild leaders to see if they could help. The Thunder Guard tried, but they can't intervene. The laws, they can't interfere with keeper business. So here we are. The shop's been closed and collecting dust. They've seized everything from it, all of your equipment, and well, we were able to grab some of your work before they did. It's in your parents' basement right now. But
well, you did what you could. But and I sort of look back to the rest of the group, and we've gotten out of worse situations than this.
That's true, I got my arm chopped off. It came back.
So
I've died a
bothered
few
about
times, so...
Oh. That's...
Your husband made me a hand.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Oh gosh, I just had a thought. Where's Didar? Is he with the ship?
I assume you left him unless you brought him
Yeah, I
with
left
you.
him on the ship.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Not that he'd be out of place necessarily here, but he might have drawn a little bit of attention. So it's good.
No, I left him on the ship.
Okay.
Sædel, well, I don't mean to interrupt any more than I already have. I'm sorry. Sædel, I mean, are his parents alright? Should someone go get your parents and...
She stops. She says, "They're fine. They're outside the city. They retired out in the country years back. They're okay. Nobody's given them too much trouble. They're both very well respected in the community, and I think if anybody, nobody believes these charges, Santa. I mean, nobody that knows you. But there's too many out there that don't.
I do find it so funny that they label you a traitor and all of us wanted, yet they still paid us for the job we did. That's ridiculous. They wouldn't have paid us for a job we did if we were so bad. He's just on a freaking power trip.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how Fulcher is.
Very petty man.
I had another thought, though.
Plus, they think of me as James anyway, so...
True. I did have a thought.
Yeah, James.
Well, I mean, there aren't a whole lot of people that can back up our story, but I could try to get in contact with the bishop.
He was so nice. That's probably...
I mean,
He was there, and he's a man of the faith, and he
Wonder
knows what
happened
happened.
to him. Hopefully he's okay.
She kind of winces at that. She says, "You haven't heard about that either."
Don't tell me.
What?
Is he dead?
Oh, I don't know if Bishop Elclair, he's the one you wrote about traveling with. I don't know if he's fine. I assume that most of the leaders of the faith are okay, but well, the Temple of the Six, they don't have very much sway anymore. The Keepers seized power. The temple still is there as well, the source of their power, but the Keepers declared martial law until the war is over. Even if you could convince the bishop to speak out against you, the Marshal General himself approved these findings and approved these charges. There's, well, like I said, I don't know what we could do. If it was just one man, if it was just this commandant, I doubt there'd be that much trouble. But they're looking for villains. That everywhere you look right now, they're looking for spies, for traitors. You're not the only one that's been labeled like as such. They're paranoid.
Reminds me of home. It's exactly what they've been doing at home for the past 100 years. I would have thought that your people of all people would understand that, but I guess...
Power corrupts.
Yeah. Especially in times of war.
And it's only worse since, since Valeforge. I assume you don't know either. They left the Alliance. They've allied themselves with Ondok here now.
Lucius just is at this point sitting at a table, and he just boom, his head right on the table.
Honestly, I don't even know if we're on the right side anymore. I don't know if there is a right side. But we're stuck here.
I'm afraid to ask, is there any news from Balavar?
Not so far as I've heard. The only news the last news we've received from Balavar is that that Ondok here still occupies. That clans that were set into power there still hold it. There's been no more fighting. For the most part, it's peaceful there. The war has shifted elsewhere, mostly fought on the seas.
I'm not a huge fan, but I can try to contact my father.
Have you
going on over there?
Have you heard anything of the expedition to Graldar? If anything else came of that?
If there's been any news from Graldar? No, not since the well, the last news we heard, I assume you're aware of, that the delegation returned, that their mission was a failure, and that Ondakir had already, I guess, swayed or convinced. Corrupted is the word they used. But
Their mission was a failure because the terms were absurd.
And I've taken everything with a grain of salt. Since all of this business, I'm rather disillusioned with the Keepers being in power. Not that I was thrilled with it when it happened. But, yes, they... As far as we know, or as far as we've been told, the common people believe that Grautar is now our enemy. As I said, I've taken everything with a grain of salt. From the story you've told, it seems something much different happened there.
No wonder your people are as paranoid as they are. They're surrounded by enemies.
We need to get you out of the city, though.
We need to get you out of the city.
So
Well,
just
whatever we're gonna do, we need to find out fast because you're currently harboring fugitives.
we've been through worse.
I mean, I could always turn myself in.
No,
That's not
maybe
going to happen.
Talk to them.
they would execute you within hours. There'd be no trial. They would.
No offense, Sædel, as one enemy to the state to another, they'd never see you again.
I think our best option is to stay here until nightfall, and I assume you want to see your parents, so we should head out there, speak with them, decide what we want to do. Now that you're here, we don't have to wait here anymore. We don't have to stay in the city. I can close up shop for a while, and we can get out until things blow over.
You can come with us.
Okay.
Sædel, I know we don't have a lot of room left on the ship, but your family's welcome.
I mean, I can make room in the hold. We have enough room. I figure out the place to put everyone.
Yeah, if you and I look to her and your parents, if they want to sail somewhere else, we'll take them.
Your mother might enjoy it. I doubt your father would fare too well on a ship.
I can help with that, I think.
Well, let's speak with them, decide what they want to do. Well, your father's rather stubborn. I doubt he'll want to go anywhere, but perhaps we can convince them. Let's stay here, though. I can make something to eat, and we can talk a bit more. I have some stories to tell as well, of less terrible things that happened while you were away.
Den,
Sounds
do you
good.
want to get a message to the ship quickly?
Yeah. I guess we should prepare to sail.
We were not in the harbor. We're outside of it, right?
You're like on the edges of it, like the,
Okay.
The seedier parking.
Okay.
Also, they probably don't know that we have ship at this point, hopefully.
Hopefully
You
not.
doubt that anyone would. I mean, if they had, Den and some of you, if they had recognized your ship in the harbor and known whose ship that was, you would have been set upon before you even docked.
Okay. Well, while we have time, I guess while we're getting dinner ready, I will send. I want to do a couple of sending spells. I will send. I'll do one. I'll send a message to Holly, and just tell her trouble in the city. Get everyone ready. We're leaving port just as soon as we possibly can. Essentially.
Okay. She responds and says, "Okay, babe."
Oh man, I love it. I do want to. Oh, I have more spells now. This is great. I do, because now I'm really worried about him. I want to try to send a message to Bishop Elclair.
Okay.
Because I'm really worried about him. And just
Hey, old
say,
friend, hope you're not dead.
Hey pal. No, it's been a while since we talked.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Okay, thanks, bye. I had to say, Bishop, it's Den. We're in South Harbor. Things are shit. Commandant's branded us traitors. Are you okay?
Um,
I just cursed at a priest.
you get a message back. What? Who's this? No, I'm just kidding. You get a message back. I'm fine. Things are difficult. Stay safe. Stay out of Yvrandal. Folger's a dick.
I just start laughing.
Episode title.
Out loud. I just start laughing out loud. The bishop's fine. He says things are difficult. We should get out of Yvrandal and stay out. And Folger's a dick.
Did the bishop actually say?
No,
Vulture's
I'm
a
not
dick?
lying. You look at my face. He said those words to me.
Gonna insight check that.
Right? I'm like, hey,
Sure.
let's go check that.
Sure.
Because I don't know when Din is like messing around or not. 22.
3.
Lucius, she's definitely telling the truth. Star, you're pretty sure she wants to murder you.
Back away.
I like the bishop even more now. I didn't think.
But he's alright. He said things are hard, but he's okay.
That's good. You people of the cloth and your communicating ways, it's interesting to see you curse as much as you do. I get that you're a pirate, but anyway.
Well, chill, homie.
Hello, fellow kids.
Thank you, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Well, I mean, I just figure that the gods have bigger things to worry about, honestly, than like language policing. So
As you guys are all having your conversation, though, and the afternoon's wearing on, Aurora begins to prepare some food out of anything she's got around. Not a whole lot back here in the shop, but trying to make do. She actually takes out a this device on the counters, kind of metallic contraption with these appendages that come up like this, and takes a crystal out from a drawer and places it in the center. And as she does, it begins to hum and vibrate, and you begin to hear like a minstrel's song begin to play out from it, and it's like sort of music that and fills throughout the room, kind of livening the atmosphere a bit. It's a radio essentially, or like a CD player, ye old CD player. But it's beautiful, and it's something that, you know, again, many of you might not have experienced. As Lucius is like inspecting the thing, Aurora sits down next to you, Sædel, and she says, and she actually like takes your hand on the table, and she says, begins to tell you some of what she's been doing during her time, and like talking and conversing as she's preparing food. And as the conversation continues, she says, I was wondering, you talked about it a bit. Did you all see the eclipse?
Yes.
It was beautiful. It actually, when we were watching it here, I went out to your parents and we watched it from the countryside. And I know we had been talking about this before you left, but I began to have a theory, and I went out to the library and I began to gather any books that I could find, trying to look for the treasure that we had been talking about before, our little pet project. And I spent a lot of time looking for that while you were away, just to pass the time. I wasn't sure if maybe the device I gave you helped at all, if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it did. It definitely did. It was, interesting, to say the least.
Did you find anything? You spoke on some elven ruins that you saw there. Did it react at all while you were there?
Not with the ruins, but when the eclipse happened, it was going haywire.
What do you mean?
I mean, it was spinning and sort of uncontrollably and random, and the markers were going everywhere. And
did it look different afterwards? Anything change with it?
I didn't notice. I go ahead and I pull it out of my pack, and nothing's changed about it.
Make an investigation check.
14.
14. No, looks about the same as it has. She looks at it. She says, "Can I see?"
I give it to her.
She takes it. The second she touches it, there is a flash that emanates from the small device, and she immediately sort of drops it on the table, and you see her eyes go like a light blue, like covered over with this like arcane energy, and she collapses out of her chair onto the floor.
I grab her and make sure she didn't like hit her head and
Make a dexterity saving throw.
okay. I was supposed to be happy. You say dexterity saving throw?
Yeah.
23.
23. Like a true hero, you're able to sort of catch her before she hits the floor. And as you catch her in her arms, you see her just sort of like staring up at the ceiling, this blue energy surrounding her eyes, and it lasts for a minute, and it almost looks like you see her head moving, like she's looking around, though she's not moving. It's like she's like scanning the room almost. And after a few seconds of this, she blinks and the energy goes away.
Furore?
That was weird. Did you see that?
I saw your eyes go blue and you fell over, but...
How is that how I got on the floor?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to get up now. And
I help her up.
You help her up, and she stands up, dusts off the apron she's still wearing. I saw it.
So what?
The archives. I saw, and she rushed over to the edge of the room, and she grabs like a few books off a stack. She's like, "I was about to tell you, I found," and she like throws them on the table. She says, I began looking at sort of ancestry and looking into my parents and our line, and I found out that the city was in Yvrandal, was actually not too far from here, near the lake, and we were I was researching. I found a name, and she is flipping through the book, frantically looking for it. And she says, "Oh, there it is. The Archive of Relan. That's my family's. Well, it was our ancestral name. We lost it a while ago. But anyway, so I found here some notes on the archive by an old uncle, twice removed. Anyway, I saw it. The door on the edge of Lake Justinia."
Would I know where that is?
Yeah, actually, I realized I forgot to put up the map before.
Haha.
Lake Justinia is this one up here.
Okay.
She says, "Okay, this isn't the best time, I know, but this could be the next step. We should go."
I'm sorry to interrupt, but this door, what does it look like?
Large stone doors covered in vines. As far as I could tell, there was an indentation towards the center of it. The writing on it, or the scrolling, was too faded to make anything else out, but it looked like it was set into the hills, just at the edge of the lake.
And what is supposed to be inside?
She looks to you, Sædel, says, "Should I tell them?"
Yes, they can be trusted with anything.
I am a captain.
She says, "Well, my grandmother used to always tell me a story that a long time ago, my great grandmother was the Duchess, and had an immense treasure that she and her husband had gathered over a lifetime of gold and gems and magical artifacts and all the knowledge and wonders of the world, all gathered into one place. And she told the story of the lost archive of our people, this ancient vault. Well, I was obsessed with it ever since I was a child, and Sædel and I used to talk about finding it when we used to go out and adventure together. And, well, it sort of became our project to look for it, and it was fun. We never found anything, but we always hoped we would.
Just bear with me for a minute. Just tell me if this sounds familiar. And I'm going to describe to her in as much detail as I possibly can the door to the Singing Stone archives and the Singing Stones themselves.
She listens. She says, kinda. I mean, they were stone doors. They didn't have circles on them. It was just the singular indentation in the center.
Follow-up door question. Since we're talking about, pardon me, elves and things, and elven runes and things like that, does anyone else remember what the door looked like a long time ago when we were in that temple and there were all the puzzles and I got my arm chopped off?
I'll describe the puzzle door with the turning rings as well.
That one, yeah.
She,
With all the symbols of the gods.
That one.
Yeah.
again, it was hard to tell. They had vines had vines going across it. Like, well, I don't know. I sort of. It didn't look like it had symbols of any deity that I could tell on it.
Fair enough. It was a long shot.
If it's a door with an indentation set, it might be the same kind of lock that was on the Sandstone archives. I could, if we get there, I could make up another way to get into it.
Yeah, I
What
guess-
kind of... Oh, keep going. I apologize.
Guess the best way to find out is to go.
One, how far away is Lake Justinian from here?
She says, it depends on how you want to travel. On horseback, a few weeks.
Alright, that might be a problem. And two, what kind of knowledge is in this archive? I don't care about the treasures, even though that's amazing, but what kind of knowledge?
Knowledge of the ancient elves. Secrets that were lost. I wouldn't even know where to begin. Spells, incantations, beyond what we know and understand.
He kind of turns to the group. Maybe something about all the gifts that we have received, and he just taps his boot a little bit.
So is the treasure all books?
No. There would be riches there. Those that my ancestors had accumulated over hundreds of lifetimes.
Cool.
Enough to, well, definitely enough to get the shop back.
This sounds doable and all, except we're kind of wanted on this island.
Well, in the city.
On the other hand, we wouldn't be in the city or anywhere populated.
I worry about... I mean, I don't worry about us, and we can
What
handle
about
it
the ship?
right in a few weeks, but I worry about leaving the ship in port for that long. If they find out it's ours, then we have a problem. I could theoretically have them sail out and come back for us.
Is the lake landlocked, or does it go into the ocean?
No, it's landlocked. The rivers leading up to it, but I don't think a ship could navigate those rivers. We could, she kind of grimaces, but she says, we could take the lightning rails towards Lytton Orion. That would get us closer, and we could maybe hop off at one of the way stations along the way.
Is it, DM, would it be feasible for, like, the first mate and the rest of the crew to kind of take the ship out for a while and then just kind of swing back, pick us up, and go away? I made that suggestion. I don't actually know in real life a lot about ships or sailing them.
They've got enough provisions to last. I mean, you had like 6 months provisions and been out on the sea for like 2 months. If they were to re-provision, then yeah, definitely. Even if they didn't re-provision, they could last, a while longer. They could sail up the coast and dock or weigh anchor near an island or something.
I mean,
I say that.
yeah, and Lucius kind of reiterates that. I'm like, yeah, we've only been at sea for 2 months. We had 6 months worth of supplies. Maybe Holly could resupply here. They don't know who she is. Resupply, maybe get another month's worth of stuff, and then let them go. I know you just got the ship and everything, but
Holly will come back for me. Well, if anything, she'll come back for Sædel.
it's true. I think it's a good plan. It gets them and it gets the crew out of harm's way. Make sure the ship is safe. If anything, they could weigh anchor somewhere close to the lake if we find the place.
And we could get your shop back.
We could get the shop back. I don't know how it would be since we're all still criminals, but I've lived my life that way for a few years.
Are there many of the stalwart keepers outside of the city?
Because they patrol the countryside, but not in large numbers, not especially since the war. Mostly they're provisioned or they protect the cities, essentially.
Okay.
So
No
about
offense, Dylan. Can I insight check her?
You guys are so suspicious of me.
She had like magic eyes and now she's talking about treasure and stuff. I don't know.
Good. I'm glad you're suspicious of me. My plan is working.
Oh. 15.
15. I mean, she's very excited. Looks like... I mean, as far as you can tell, she's not lying to you. She seems to be a very honest person.
Seems legit.
Yeah, as far as you can tell, I mean, she's just very excited about this prospect of this happening.
Sædel, what do you think?
Well, it's dangerous, but that's not really saying much for us. Well, I say we do it.
Alright. I'll get a message to Holly, we'll send the ship up the coast, and I'll tell them when to come back for us. I guess. Sædel, do you think if maybe your parents want to, I know they live out in the country, but if they want to maybe get away for a while, they're welcome on the ship?
Thank you. And I'd be glad to talk to him. You know, I
we're-
want to see him anyway, so.
I think from what Ferraro was saying, the plan is to visit them anyway, so... but first we need to work out how we're getting at least a couple of you out the city without being noticed. No offense, but you can be a bit loud, noticeable,
Blue.
blue,
You could say it. It's
loud.
true. Yeah, very loud. Especially now.
I can skate out, I can go out over the rooftops. I can make one of you invisible.
Well, some of us blend in easier than others. I mostly mean Lil.
I mean, I don't like to, but I can take my braid down. That people don't realize how much hair I got up here. So that,
Same.
you know. I mean, I really wouldn't like to be unarmored, but I could take my armor off, and I don't look. I mean, the only thing I can't really hide is the scar, but you know, I know my way around here a little bit. I mean, definitely not as good as Sædel, but I lived here for a little bit.
Wait, I have the... Den, how long can you fly with your ring?
2 hours.
Well, we can get 2 of us out of the city over the rooftops.
Smart.
I mean, I can fly as well.
We all got really quiet.
We're all thinking.
Uh,
How far would the light rail things take us?
How far? They would take us all the way to Lytton Ariane, but we probably don't want to go there since it's the capital, and well, going to be a lot more keepers there.
It's probably a good idea
Is-
not to go to the capital.
Is there a way for us to get horses to Sædel to your parents. If we can get out of the city and into the country to where your parents are, then we could ride from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Do
we
your
could find a way to
parents
make that work.
happen to have like 5 or 6 horses?
I know they have at least 2. But
She says, they have a couple, but could probably borrow some from some others that are friends.
Right, well me and Lil will ditch our armor. We'll all be quiet. A couple of us can fly. We'll make it out of the city. If we can get to your parents, then we're safer there, and we'll go from there.
Okay. She looks outside, and you can see that the sun is beginning to set. Just, about time to go, then. Anything else we need to do before we leave?
Yeah, it's gonna take me like 10 minutes to take this armor off, so I start doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, I do the same.
I assume you guys are just putting in like the bag of holding or something. Okay.
And I probably take another 5 minutes to unbraid my hair. Because I don't know if you guys know, Lil's hair is like to her feet. She has super long hair. I mean, she's 2 feet tall, but you know, for her, is a lot of hair.
I'll put on a cloak, I guess.
Okay. So who's flying out of the city?
I guess me too.
Lucius, who else are you flying?
Oh yeah, because I can do like multiple people.
Yeah, well, at the level you're casting it at, I think you can cast it on 2.
I think it's. Let me check. 4th level or higher. Yeah, additional creature for each slot above 3rd. So 2 other people.
Oh, is it at a 4th level or 5th level?
It's 4th level at this moment.
So just 2 people total.
Yeah. So who else wants to fly?
Sædel is, I think, is probably the most riskiest if he's seen.
It's probably true. And I mean, he's already flown before, so.
And Ferrora says, nobody's looking for me, so I can get out easily. I could walk with you, Lil, and the 2 of us could leave the city together. I think if we put you in a cloak or something, you'd maybe pass you off as a niece if anyone asks.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'll go over the rooftops myself. I can go invisible if need be.
It's a good plan. It's going to work.
Okay. We'll meet outside the city gates then.
All right.
Good luck, everybody.
Wait, one more thought before we all split up. I can do enhance ability. It'll be my 1/4 level slot. But I can do 3 people for that if anybody wants to do that for sneaking purposes.
No, well, I'm okay, because I think I'm gonna go with Fiora, and we're gonna walk like we have a purpose and get on out of town. We're not gonna be sneaky, I don't think, right? Get her.
I can't say I'm really good at that, so.
Gosh knows I'm not.
Okay, I'll use my 1/4 level slot and I'll cast Enhance Ability Cat's Grace on the other 3.
Okay. I'll lock up then. So you all, those of you that are sneaking and flying out, you all prepare for that. For a heads up to the. She locks the back doors and heads up to the front, or actually she locks the front doors, heads out towards the back, ushers you all out through the back. Closes the door, locks it behind. You all cast your spells to fly. She kind of pulls up the hood on Lil's cloak, leaves her own down. She's not trying to remain unseen. She gives you a kiss, Sædel, and says, "Safe. I'll see you out there."
I'll see you soon.
At which point, fly spells take hold, and those of you that are flying go zooming out over the buildings. I'll have you all make stealth checks.
You three get advantage.
Do I need to make one?
Actually, can you cast enhance ability on yourself? Because it probably would be better to do it on you, Sædel, and Lucius. Because I'm real good at the sneaky sneak anyway.
Already did it.
True.
Character choices.
Rolled a 16.
Okay.
Rolled a 9.
I rolled a 22.
Wow.
That's a natural 20. Phoebe.
Nice.
It's amazing what happens when you take that armor off.
Star.
I'll climb onto the roof and do my sneaky sneak thing. 24.
24, nice. Okay. So as you're flying, start to fly. Star, you're going to climb over the rooftops, just silently leaping from one to the other. As Lucius, as you are making your way kind of towards the towards the forefront, there's a moment where you hear some people down below kind of look up, and you hear some people down there speaking. Did you see that? As you go flying over streets, and there are kind of people looking out windows and seeing the one tiefling flying over the city. At which point, as you make it over, there aren't any walls around the city, but as you fly over, just this visual, this like nightmarish figure, obviously to these people, you reach a point where you look down and you see a cluster of guards standing near a corner with their torches, conversing, and they look up, seeing you flying overhead, and you hear some shouts below. And so, was that a tiefling? Quick, sound the alarms! And they begin to.
James, is that you?
We can never come back here.
You hear them beginning to panic down below as they see this tiefling flying amongst the city.
You see nothing.
So, just who said this was a good plan that would definitely work?
This this evil Santa Claus. Now,
Krampus!
Yeah, essentially.
Ho ho ho!
Lucius, I'll have you make another stealth check to see if you can lose your pursuit.
Probably not.
As suddenly, up in the top right-hand corner, you see the 5 stars fill up on your screen.
10.
All right, so
One better.
you're moving much faster than them, which is the one advantage that you have here. They're able to sprint and keep up with you for a while, but eventually exhaustion starts to take over and they begin to slow down, whereas you don't have that same problem. You're still getting a consistent 60 feet. However, they are going to lob some javelins at you as you're actually... They might have crossbows. Hold on. Let's see.
Lucius dies again.
See, Lucius is going to go unconscious in midair, then Oh god, he cast a spell as well.
And then if I go unconscious or lose concentration, Sædel drops.
Yeah. So actually, they have spears. So they're gonna throw some spears at you. So it's gonna be 4 of them. So they're gonna throw spears at you. Range of 20 feet. So they do have disadvantage on this because I assume you're flying more than 20 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
Okay. First attack, disadvantage. It's gonna miss. That one, second one is a 17. Okay, it was a natural 20, and then not. Third one, it's a 12. Fourth one, okay, so only one hits. Which is gonna be 3 points of piercing damage as 3 spears kind of go flying through the air towards you. One just clips you and it sends you kind of into a spin in the air. Make a Constitution saving throw for a concentration check.
Three, because I don't have advantage.
3. Yeah, and it is concentration, right?
Yeah.
So to make sure.
I'm looking at the thing. It doesn't say concentration on here, I think, unless it like roll 20.
Fly is
awkward.
Fly is a concentration because I have it on mine.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not. I'm looking at the SRD and it doesn't say concentration on there, so that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah. That must be.
I'll look
that
at the
It is.
player's handbook to be
Yeah.
sure.
Just want to make sure. Well, because I saw
just
that.
got it.
Concentration.
Got it. It's
up to
concentration.
It
seven.
is
Okay.
So
I'll take the
SRD.
blame for that one.
No, SRD needs to get their shit together. But 3 as Lucius goes spinning through the air, the 3 of you suddenly find your weightlessness gone.
Oh, not me.
And-
My ring is flying me.
Oh,
So it's only Sædel.
okay. Oh, that's right. Because Den, you suddenly
I'm
walk
flying.
up to us. Sædel, suddenly you find yourself falling through the air with Lucius.
Please say I noticed this.
Yeah, you noticed this.
Can I like fly down, try to catch whichever one's closer to me?
Yeah, you can try. They're sort of equidistant from you. So you've got Lucius, who has just been shot out of the air like a duck and is plummeting down towards where the guards currently are. And then you've got Sædel, who's a little way off, who looks like he's falling down towards an alleyway.
Get Sædel, I'm fine.
I don't want us all to get caught. I go for Sædel.
Okay. You go rushing over towards Sædel. Go ahead and make me an athletics check to try to catch him.
Seven. That's
7.
a natural one.
Carl, this is all your fault.
You reach out to grab onto Sædel. However, as you like kind of clasp arms with him, he slips through your fingers, and you just watch him plummet down into the alleyway below. Sædel, you hit the ground about. So you guys are probably about 50 feet up or so. Yeah. Takes 16 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam into a cluster of crates and like essentially like in an alleyway with like garbage cans and stuff piled up. You just slam straight down into it. And luckily you didn't land on your feet, so your knee isn't more busted, but you're achy. And you just see Den above you kind of just hovering, and you hear some shouts around the corner of the guards.
I immediately just fight through the pain and start climbing out.
Okay, you begin to climb out of the wreckage. Den, you see him down there. You can fly down and help him if you want.
Yeah, I fly down and help him, and I like set him back up on his feet. I just grab him and take off running.
Okay, so you're gonna fly with him, or you're gonna like
I don't know if I can carry him.
your speed would be halved, but
Oh, probably not. We'll just run.
It's okay.
We'll just run.
I'm gonna cast I'm gonna cast jump on myself,
Okay.
which triples my jumping distance. So
You gonna start hopping from rooftop to rooftop?
I'm gonna be
Spider-Man?
leaping from roof to roof.
Okay. So,
Parkour!
Sædel, I'm gonna need you to make me an athletics check.
Cool. Natural 20.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what's the total on it?
22.
22. Okay, so you, Dan, you go to help and sounds just like, I got this, and begins to climb up, very spry for an old half elf.
White guy.
He climbs up to a balcony and then leaps over. You see a flash of arcane energy, and he leaps over to the other one, clutching off the side of a rooftop, pulling himself onto it, and then starts leaping from rooftop to rooftop, heading down the thoroughfare. And you can fly behind him.
Oh, I do that.
Lucius, you're plummeting through the air.
I cast fly on myself again.
Okay, you're gonna hit the ground before you're able to cast fly again. So we're
That sucks.
gonna resolve that.
Do I have feather fall? I do not.
So that's gonna be 22 points. Roll better on that one, of bludgeoning damage as you slam into the ground, and you see the guards coming rushing up to you very quickly. I'm going to need an initiative check from you.
How close am I to this?
You are essentially like on a roof, kind of looking down at this, probably about 60 feet away.
Yeah, I'm jumping in on this.
Okay.
26 with a natural 20.
Okay. Star, you make me an initiative check to see if you react before Lucius does.
21, so
Okay.
I know.
They can't roll that high. So, Lucius, you're going to go first. You see them rushing up. They're about 30 feet away from you. What do you do?
Cast fly on myself
Cast
and go away.
Okay. You cast fly yourself really quickly and then go flying your full 60 feet away, getting out of their range. Star, you see this happen, him being able to cast that, mutter the incantation very quickly, and go sailing off. Are you still jumping in, or what do you want to do?
Before I run off, I am going to cast Minor Illusion. It is going to be making a sound, and what I want to do is just do something like someone screaming as if they were being stabbed repeatedly, sort of trying to aim it so it's going from around a corner in the direction we're not going.
Okay. So here's what happens. Out of the 4 guards that are pursuing, 2 of them hear that noise and they all look to each other. 2 of them go rushing off away down that alleyway. The other 2 use their full movement to get within range to throw 2 more spears at you and go to hurl them. They're still at disadvantage here, but they're not giving up on their quarry yet. So you only have 2 that are attacking you right now, Lucius. Let's see. The first one is an 11. Second one is a 14. All right. So both spears go whoosh, sailing through the air, narrowly missing you, but you're able to continue flying away. And this time you're able to get out of their range, and you hear them rushing up behind and just stop you there, just like cursing out in your direction, obscenities and all sorts of racial slurs about tieflings.
I curse back at them in Infernal.
Okay.
You just hear me going, "Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up."
I'm sorry, I don't speak Tabaxi!
The rest
Yes,
of
you do.
The rest of you are able to make your way outside the city walls. Ferrara and Lilibet, the 2 of you, without too much issue. Ferrara being sort of a known face around here, not really getting too much heat, and you just looking like essentially a small child walking with her. And not being a tiefling flying through the air, which they seem very intent on looking for something. You see some guards running around like they are currently in hot pursuit of some entity that is now terrorizing the city, the phantom tiefling that will forever haunt the nightmares of all the denizens of South Harbor. And you just hear some guards muttering as you're walking by. Like, I didn't even know they could fly. We need to be careful out there, man. And
Lucius is now an urban legend.
He just yells, "I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!"
You go rushing away, or you go kind of leisurely, I guess, rushing away. And all of you manage to gather a small grouping of trees just outside the city.
Is everything okay?
Fine.
Great.
Sædel, you look a little flattened. You okay?
Yep, I'm good. Whew.
Lucius, what happened?
Ow. Spear. Falling. Hit the ground. Almost another spear.
If I may, why were you only 50 feet up? You could have just flown like, you know? Is that...
You see, that one spear, really good thrower, hit really hard.
But if you were flying higher, the spear wouldn't have reached it. Never mind.
I didn't know that they could throw that high, okay?
It was the Charlize Theron effect, the Prometheus effect of running away from it instead of to the side. Sorry, carry on.
I was like Rickon in Game of Thrones. I didn't zigzag.
I'll go ahead and do a second level cure wounds on Lucius.
All right. So you've all gathered outside the city. Some of you worse where Flora comes up to you, Sædel, and kind of seeing you in a little bit of like aches and pains, I would imagine. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Don't worry about me.
She says, well, here. And she reaches into a pouch and she pulls out a vial and hands it to you. She says, drink this. You'll feel better.
I drink it and feel better.
You do. You heal... estimating on that because I don't remember how much it is. 14 hit points. As she places it back into her, replaces the vial back into her magical bag.
I love you.
I know. We should probably go though before more guards show up because I don't really want spears thrown at me.
Wait, before we go, I touch Lucius and turn him invisible.
Okay. Smart play.
It's probably a good idea.
Lucius vanishes from sight as he says that, and all of you begin to walk down this this rocky or cobblestone path, which eventually fades into a dirt road, leading out to, you can see a couple of hillsides over a glowing area of a couple of huts and small houses out in the countryside and a little bit of farmland surrounding it. And you begin to head that way towards Sædel, or the Xjulai Manor. I hate your last name. And that's where we'll go ahead and call it for today.
Didn't die.
Nope. Well done. We've avoided a significant number of encounters.
I feel like I say this every time, but next time we're leaving Lucius at home.
Yeah. Folger
I
is a
can't-
dick, and Lucius stays at home.
I can't keep using my second level spell slots on you.
I gotta stop trusting this flying spell.
Right. Hey, it worked once and it failed once. It's a 50-50 chance at this point.
Yeah. It did let me air tackle.
It did.
Yeah, but I don't dig a 50% chance of falling to your death.
It's better than an 80% chance of falling to your death.
With you casting out, I feel like it is an 80% chance of falling to your death.
Shut up. It's still 50 right now.
Oh man, gonna have to take some thoughts in when you guys hit level 8.
Right.
It's your one take. All right. Well, happy session, everyone. I guess we won't be meeting next week, but for this game. But will everyone be here the week after that? Or should be good.
Yeah, the week after that, we'll be there. Never mind. I'll tell you later.
We'll keep up as it goes, but
What is the week after that?
The 30th, September
won't-
30th.
I won't be there for that one.
Okay. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Do this
Yeah.
on recording. But yeah, we'll be
For
back.
this session, he's not here. Star is teaching him how to do stealth, and he's just staying somewhere out of the way very quietly.
It's a good idea.
It's a good
Yes,
idea.
to clarify for our friends in the chat that I see over there, we are going to have a game next week. It's going to
Yes.
be at an earlier time, 2:30 Eastern time, so it's going to be earlier. Alex is going to be running a one-shot. Sean and I have somewhere to be that evening, so we can't be here for a regular game, so we're going to play an awesome, fun...
Yeah, my sister's getting
one-shot.
married, so
We have, like, wedding stuff to do.
yeah. No, it's not
Love
actual.
and stuff. Now
it's
let's
not
kill
actual
things.
wedding. It's just some sort of shower. They're
Yeah.
like showers. We didn't do this many showers for our wedding,
Yeah, we did.
did we?
Yeah, we had, like, 4.
I don't know. Anyway,
Anyway,
Casey's
so, but
married.
we will be having a game. Alex is going to be running a fun one-shot, 2:30 Eastern time, whatever that is for all of you people who live in different places that aren't the East Coast.
11:30
Something,
Pacific.
11:30 Pacific.
All turtles.
But yeah,
We'll see.
there will be, I hear, but my producers are telling me that there may or may not be some turtles involved in that one shot. But yeah, and if you're gonna miss it, those of you that are subscribed, you could definitely watch the VOD whenever you have time. And we will be uploading it to YouTube just as soon as we can. So if you're gonna miss us next Saturday at our earlier time, check it out. And then the week after that, we'll be back with our normal campaign. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I should do announcements or thanks,
I
I
was
guess.
about
I'll just keep talking. Alrighty. Yeah, we have art that we love and artists that we love that we always want to tell you about every single week. Our character art was done by our wonderful friend Julie, and our DM art was done by our wonderful friend Katarina. So thanks to both of them. We love you. You're wonderful artists. I think both of them are still taking commissions right now. So if you want to get yourself some art, if you like our art, check them out. They're amazing people. They do awesome work. We can point you in their direction on Twitter. So if you're interested in any of that, contact us on Twitter. We'll put you in contact with them. It's great. All of our overlays, Sarah made those for us. They're awesome. She's awesome. You'll see more of our awesome overlays on Tuesday when we have our next Wonderworld game. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We have Wonderworld. Just made the overlays for that. And the week after that, on that Monday, for our new awesome fantasy space D&D game that I don't think has an official name yet, but it will by that Monday. She made the overlays for that too. So check us out, our awesome fun games. If you need overlays for your game or your stream, whatever it is you have going on, contact her on Twitter. Her handle's above her face in her little window. So check her out. She's done some great stuff for us and continues to do so. If you like our maps, which you got to see a lot of this session, a lot of cool maps and stuff, our DM Sean makes all those for us using Incarnate, the map making software that you can access online. That's Incarnate with a K, if I remember correctly,
Yes.
from the time that I went to that website. It's awesome.
Incarnate.
Incarnate with a K. Check it out. It's awesome. Lots of cool, fun, creative things you can do on there, even if you have no map making experience at all. It's really cool. All of our fun music is from Incompetech, royalty free. All of our music, whether it's our awesome fantasy music or our really fun technical difficulties music, which you got to listen to for a little bit earlier, it's all on Incompetech. Check it out. Lots of cool stuff. I think I haven't mentioned it in a couple of weeks, so if you're just tuning in or you haven't been around in a while, Kyle is playing an awesome homebrew class that our DM made called the Soul Stitcher. It's really fun. There's a little bit of creepiness involved. It's really great. Again, something that our DM Sean has created and we're currently playtesting, so if you want to check that out, it is on DM's Guild. You can download it, check it out. If you want to play it, let us know how you like it. Leave a comment. Leave him some stars. It's great. Thanks to all of our friends who are hosting us every week, all our viewers out there, and our wonderful subscribers who we love so, so much. And if you want more excellent gaming content, follow us on all of the social medias. You can follow at Survivor Complex. That's us on Twitter, Survivor Complex, without the S. And also at YouPickGaming on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can watch all of our fun games again. This one and Wonderworld and our video game streams. And eventually our new fun space fantasy timey-wimey game that we're going to be playing. It's going to be really awesome. You can also subscribe here on Twitch and get access to a custom emote, get access to our Discord server where you can hang out with us and talk about games and do all this fun stuff. I'm just doing finger guns. I see you guys making fun of me. I don't care. I feel great. And, yeah, we love you guys. We're having a great time doing this thing, and thanks for supporting us and helping us to keep being able to play the games we love.
That is always a hard act to follow, because I just sound flat and lifeless after Savannah talks. Clearly, we need a new DM.
Just twirl your mustache.
I know.
Okay, I'm gonna DM from now on. Ready?
Okay.
You're all turtles now.
Yeah, thank you all for coming out. Thank you for listening through our announcements and stuff, and our thanks. Stay tuned for this special bonus that you stuck for the end of the episode, the preview for next week, which we will edit in. Just kidding. We don't have that.
The preview for next week is just a picture of a turtle, plus sign, and a stick figure of a man equals question mark.
we can do that.
With us doing this in the background.
Yeah, and we'll put that right here. There we go. Yeah. All right.
If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see that.
You'll be able to see Sean do this to nothing.
All right.
We've gone off the rails.
Yeah, that's a good note.
Disclaimer that might not actually happen.
So see everybody here next week for the one shot. See everybody in 2 weeks for more for the continuation of our story. And until next time, good night, Internet.
Good night,
Good night, Internet.